How sociopaths write smear campaigns. Narcissistic word salad 101. So this is a disclaimer. Education commentary on general patterns, not allegations about any person. All examples are redacted. Do not contact, tag, or harass anyone. Okay, I'm going to speak fast. What is a narcissistic word salad of a sociopathic smear campaign and how you can protect yourself? This information that you're learning today from the article can save your life and your reputation. Not to mention spot the smear campaign structure, knowing the accusations are real or fake, even if you think it sounds like a half-truth. So ignoring this information will only one day backfire on you, losing potential chance to get laid for day game. We're going to talk about the psychology of a topic of the narcissistic word salad, then get into examples as fast as possible. Since I've been through a narcissistic sociopathic smear campaign myself, I know the structure of it. It always runs through 4 stages. Number 1, false accusations. Number 2, guilt trips. Number 3, pain points. Number 4 is circular reasoning. That's right. This is called narcissistic sociopath smear campaign. Never defend against it because I myself have done it. So basically, let's start reading the articles, okay? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the baseline 4 steps. So in this article, we're going to break it down. But first of all, what exactly is a smear campaign? And what is a narcissistic word salad? So here's the first article from Psychology Today. A basic guide to gaslighting, love bombing, hoovering, and flying monkeys. So narcissistic word salad, NPD meaning, which stands for narcissistic personality disorder. It is being used as a slang term for a type of narcissistic sociopathic speech that is purposefully confusing. Listeners find narcissistic word salad extremely frustrating because the narcissist sociopath is using circular reasoning, outright lies, denial, or mischaracterizations of past events to avoid being wrong or having to take responsibility for something. Remember, these words are going to mean a lot. They say circular reasoning. You're going to hear the word circular reasoning all the time. And when you hear every single time, for every single article, denial, mischaracterization is false accusations, part of my chart of past events, right? And having, like, not taking responsibility. So that's the first article. There's a celebrity called Sydney Sweeney. For example, Sydney Sweeney, right? There was a recent blow up about Sydney Sweeney. She made an ad campaign called Good Genes, as in good Jeans, not good genes as genetics. But she did talk about having blue eyes and blonde hair. Some online critics tried to spin the slogan and her look into a eugenics accusation. For those of you who don't know what eugenics means, it means killing an entire race and only keeping certain races there. That's what eugenics is. The far left lunatics has said Sydney Sweeney's ad campaign for American Eagle is about eugenics. That is a smear campaign of a narcissistic word salad. Can you believe it? The stuff that we see on the news today perfectly aligns. That's a textbook smear pattern, a false accusation, reframing denim wordplay as something sinister, then a guilt trip, implying moral wrongdoings for simply appearing in an ad. Next, pain points for poking, tie it to hot button cultural war, fears to rile people up, like especially the woke. And finally, a circular defense trap, demanding endless explanation for a claim that was never true in the first place. The word changes, but the structure doesn't. This is the same narcissistic word salad smear campaign tactics. And that's the thing I've also been through myself. Believe it or not, I have been through a narcissistic, sociopathic smear campaign. So that's the first article. Okay, if you have any questions, we're going to start to post this one so other people can see it. Okay. Let's just see if this one's showing up or not. All right. I'm going to be quick, okay? I'm going to read articles after articles so you know that I'm not just making this stuff up. Hopefully this shows up on the community section. No, it doesn't fucking show up. Anyways, I'll post it here. All right. So let's continue to the next article. 7 signs the narcissistic sociopath is serving you a word salad. Okay. It takes a while before we cotton onto the fact that there's something not quite right when in an abusive relationship with a narcissistic sociopath. Sadly, the initial view we form of the narcissistic based on the mask of perfection they presented us during love bombing takes a great deal for us to overturn. There's a multiple reasons for this. Key among that is the abuse itself is imperceivable, leads us to a state of confusion and anxiety. That's what the narcissistic word salad does, where our default position is to doubt ourselves rather than the narcissistic sociopath. So recognizing signs that are hallmarks of pathological narcissism will help you turn the corner, reclaim your truth and self-belief, and ultimately your freedom. This is from Narcissistic Abuse Support. So what lies behind the mask of perfection? Well, an individual with a personality disorder. And what does this mean exactly? Set aside definitions found within the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorder means mess, disorganized, deranged, muddled, jumbled, disarrangement, shambles. But the interesting thing is that there are palpable, apparent reflection of inner chaos of the narcissist once you know what to look for. So the word salad is one such thing. It's also known as narc speak, according to this article. It is quite literally a disorganized speech, a lack of semantic fluidity, which sounds exactly like the smear campaign of a sociopathic smear campaign that you saw in the last video. And this is how you can detect it. All right. So let's just see who's here. I'm going to post this article so other people can see it. Please bear with me. But basically, you're going to learn a lot about a sociopathic smear campaign. Okay? Please join the YouTube live. I'm going as fast as I can. It's like I cannot multitask. I'm not a woman. All right. Hey, what's up? Thank you for a like. All right. So basically, number one, a complete lack of logic. So when you look at my smear campaign, right? Have you noticed that there's no logic behind it? It makes no sense whatsoever. The first most overt sign of a narcissistic sociopath speak in action is unsurprisingly the nonsense that issues forth. It is the very epitome of verbal chaos. You'll find a bunch of unrelated words and concepts all smooshed together, including contradictions in disjointed phrases or random, irrelevant, impromptu comments thrown at you. That's exactly what the smear campaign sounds like. It makes no sense. You don't know why you're angry at me, but that you are angry because they're using a smear campaign. So basically the effect, as it says in the article, is very deliberate. Purpose of this is to leave you entirely unable to follow the narcissist, to throw you off your game, is following your logic and holding them accountable for their behavior. And once again, the word circular reasoning is going to show up a lot. Okay? I'm going to tag a lot of people here. Make sure they actually show up in the article. All right. So number 2 is circular conversations and repetition. Once again, you heard the word circular conversations or circular reasoning. This is the most dangerous part whenever you're dealing with a narcissistic sociopath. They love to argue in circles. They make the most outrageous accusations so you can defend yourself, and they love it. I have fell for this trap of the circular reasoning of the narcissistic sociopath. These are nasty, nasty people. What's number 3? Number 2, circular conversation and repetition. It's not just about absurd semantics as it relates to words. It's also about being caught in a structural hell, completely reflective of their disordered mind. Linearly is something that the narcissists absurdly avoid in a discussion, particularly when a topic is raised that's some way challenging them or seeking to hold them to account for their behaviors. By frustrating the logical progression to the point of view from A to B to Z, the point is never made. Accountability is non-event, and the key tactic used are repetitions and circular conversations that lead to nowhere. You see how nasty they are? This is like verbal violence. This strategy used by narcissistic sociopaths not only frustrate your argument for their smear campaign, but to frustrate you into submission, relinquishing further attempts to resolve the matter at hand. To be honest, lots of people from India have done that to me. They just kept using this 4-step process over and over, and then they just kept attacking me over and over after the inflation hit. And then I just stopped teaching them. It's like they press a button. They think that they have a accusation, guilt trip, pain point, circular reasoning. Very, very, I'm not saying all Indians are like that, but in India, there has been a lot of this kind of behavioral traits. For sure. And this is a very, very nasty way of dealing with things. So this is why, you don't fall for these narcissistic, sociopathic smear campaigns. All right. So having said that, as we're communicating to you that you are the problem, that's what they're going to do. They're going to gaslight you. Otherwise, the poor, aspirated narcissistic sociopath will not need to keep stating the same things that they have already told you. Number 3, overgeneralization. While it may not follow my exact model of false accusations, guilt trip, pain point, circular reasoning, we do have an overgeneralization. For example, all the things they have said to me in the last video I made, debunking one false accusation after another, was exactly in this video. So overgeneralization is something that you see on the Reddit hit piece. Narcissistic personality disorder with sociopathy, what they call type B clusters, type B personality disorders cluster, is marked by a set of persuasive behaviors which are underpinned by certain cognitive errors. One of these has a tendency to overgeneralize, which is due to their black and white thinking resulting from something called splitting. Splitting is the inability to comprehend that people and things and events usually made up of strengths and weaknesses, positives and negative. The pathological narcissist cannot intellectually integrate these two concepts into a whole. This means that their worldview is one of the extremes. You'll be familiar with this, with the stark contrast of idealization versus devaluation and discard, for example. Within the context of the word salad, you'll cop a bunch of, you always like, John, you always do this, or you always like bully people, or you always kick everyone out. Statements which is exaggerated because of the narcissistic sociopath. You do something once, they draw the conclusion, oh, you kick everyone out. You see that? And they assign and they label. You know, the ones that always takes things too seriously. You're always so sensitive, or else you're mentally unstable. In reality, they're mentally unstable. They quit the coaching. They're the ones who quit in 14 days, did not do any of the drills. They are lying through their teeth. Okay, so basically, let's use an example. Exactly, NPD, exactly. So thank you for saying that. Narcissistic personality disorder. Give it a thumbs up. There's 4 people here and only 2 likes. Let's talk about Charlie Kirk's assassination attempt. So quick disclaimer. This segment is education and commentary about how smear campaigns spread. I'm not assigning guilt to anybody. Everything I mentioned comes from public reporting by outlets like Fox News, the New York Post, TMZ, MSN, and then Sun. And it may change as more facts emerge. But I'm talking about behaviors and tactics, not identities. All right. So number 1, let's look at the pattern. First comes the label. than the lunge. According to the Utah authorities, the accused killer, Charlie Kirk, had bullet casings engraved with a message that used the word fascist. That's like a false accusation, right? That sounds exactly like the same narcissistic sociopath smear campaign. He had the word fascist right onto the bullet. And he had the most extreme examples of a narcissistic word salad. Okay? So let's see who's texting me right now. Okay, good. So basically, in other words, he branded his target with a slur, and then he tried to make the label true with a gun. So rather than just smear campaigning, what's his name? That something Kirk. I haven't watched his videos before. It has not shown up in my algorithm. But for Charlie Kirk, he labeled this as true with a gun. That's a smear playbook taken to the extreme. He accuses, he inflames, he dehumanizes, he attacks. The reports also say he lived with a transgendered partner who is now cooperating with investigators, according to those articles. See, that's personal detail doesn't prove anything about the case. And it shouldn't be used to smear anyone, but it does expose the basic contradiction. They preach moral outrage while they're practicing violence. They're hypocritical people. I'm not saying that the person who smear campaigned me is like that, but they are like that in a different way. They're accusing me of all sorts of different things. Like, oh no, a student died because they accuse me of being a murderer. But in reality, he says, oh, they take alpha GPC, it causes a stroke. So John killed a student. In reality, he had a lung clot. That's not a stroke. Stroke is in the head. So that's a defamation. He lied through his teeth to enrage. This is a different issue. This is not even from my coaching or supplementation. If I had to defend myself against his word salad, false accusations, guilt trip, right? Making me feel guilty, pain points, and circular reasoning, all those 4 things will create PTSD. Does that make sense? But this is exactly how smear campaigns work on a smaller scale. False accusations, like the one they say about me. Like I said, alpha GPC takes 10 years when you're older. You might get a stroke. May not. But that could be a side effect. But a stroke is not the same as a lung clot. That is so false. Number 2 is guilt trip, trying to make me feel guilty for something I did not do. Number 3, pain point poking. They try to make you feel like twisting the knife. And number 4, circular, defending yourself. So if you try to argue back, and I made the mistake of arguing back, I made a bunch of videos defending myself like a stupid idiot. I defended my reputation point by point. And guess what happened in the first month? Everyone got turned off by me because I did not post the receipts until the very end. Until you saw all the receipts. At the very least, can you give me a like? It's good for the algorithms. Yeah, give it a like for this thing if you're learning a lot. Because there's only 2 likes. All right, let's continue. Does that make sense? The content changes, but the structure always stays the same. So when you read that hit piece on the Reddit, because it makes no sense whatsoever, it sounds like a bunch of outrage, just like the far left, the narcissistic sociopath, cluster B personality disorder. So when you see hypocrisy plus labels and pressure to answer every charge, that's your cue that you're not in a truth-seeking conversation. And the Reddit post is not truth-seeking. You're inside a smear campaign. You see that? That's the problem. So let's continue the article. Number 4, projecting and blaming. Okay? Projecting is evident when the narcissistic handballs their flaws onto you. Whatever is unacceptable, and within them is the attribution to you. You know it's happening when their very own traits are being flung at you. oh, you're so selfish, or this is what he says. He says, I'm so mentally unstable, or something like that. He's mentally unstable and vengeful, and all you do is lie and deny. That's what they might say, or something like that. But there's something wrong with you. You're mentally unstable, etc. Exactly what it says in the article. It's like word for word. That's actually the first thing that they said on the Reddit hit piece. Mentally unstable. Excuse me, who's more mentally unstable? The ones using a narcissistic smear campaign? Seriously. Like, that is the worst type of smear I've ever seen. All right, so you guys are not going to give me a thumbs up. Then I'll use my second YouTube channel and give it a thumbs up. That's so. Why are you guys not giving a thumbs up? Because am I speaking some truth that you don't want to hear? Let's continue. Similar, any relationship difficulties must be the fault of the others, especially yours. They'll go on any extent to construct a reason and excuse to why the thing is your fault or my fault. No matter how completely bonkers their finger pointing sounds, just like the guy calling Charlie Kirk a fascist, you're blamed for everything, just like the far left. Oh no, they're a bunch of Nazis. They're all evil, right? They're going to take over and they're going to round everyone up after Donald Trump becomes president. He's been through a lot of hit pieces, a lot of false accusations. It's your fault that I'm yelling at you. You made me do it. Of course. Number 5, denial and gaslighting. So this is like, there's no concrete evidence, solid or indisputable enough, that the narcissist in their hubris will not deny the existence or its existence. They make bold statements 1 second in, and the very next second proclaim, I never said that. Before your very eyes, they undertake an act only to hold your gaze steadily and pronounce that it never happened. You may look at the irrefutable proof like a written document, kind of like my receipts video in the last one, or even footage of them busy at something, and they assert it wasn't me. Denial is all about protecting themselves from reality due to their inability to cope with who and what they really are. Narcissistic sociopath is also gaslighting in action. That's the truth. Not all sociopath gaslights, but all gaslighters are sociopaths. Actually, no, all sociopaths gaslight, my bad. Repeated denying the fact has pleasing effect of having you question your take on reality and whether you're indeed the problem. Number 6 is all about winning and losing. Listen to the language used by the narcissistic sociopath with as much detachment as you can. There is nothing that will issue forth from their mouth that is about finding solutions and relationship building. Their verbiage will center on establishing that they are right and you are wrong, wrong, wrong. Every interaction for the pathological narcissist is a matter of competition. No matter what you say, they will engage in a duel of words to establish that you are wrong. They do every utterance that you make, even if you completely sequentially things, because to your mind, if they make you wrong about everything, then you must surely be wrong about any concerns that you may have about their behavior. Not only this, clearly, this also is a classic supply. By making you always wrong, they believe that this authenticates that they're always right. So when we look at their smear campaigns, for example, when we debunk one point at a time. Why is my phone freezing? So, all right. So when we look at the traits of a narcissistic sociopath, and I was looking back some of the receipts, okay? I have it here with me, a screenshot of all the false accusations right over here. You've seen this before in the community section, also on my website. The first thing to talk about is that when they're blaming me, right? They say my system rarely works. Actually, it's the only system that's still working, but I don't want to defend myself. You see that in the circular reasoning? But they said your system can work, but they talk about them having thin skin. So they lie through their teeth. They tell everybody that system does not work and it rarely works. But in reality, they say to me that it works really well. You see that? Number 2, he attacked me for suggesting supplements. Okay? But in reality, he's the one who never took supplements before. He's a vegan. He made a movie called Meatless Barbecue. Number 3, he extorted me for money because he said, I'm going to strike your PayPal if you don't give me money back. I was like, dude, there's a no refund policy. He got $400 back. We signed an NDA agreement, non-disclosure agreement, and he still proceeds to attack me. Technically, that is extortion. That is breaking an NDA, and that is also defamation. So now that you know there's the 4 traits: false accusations, guilt trip, pain point, circular reasoning, you know this is all false. And it's hypocritical, exactly the same way as the other guy who basically blamed Charlie Kirk while he also has a trans partner for the shooter. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with that. That is your choice. I'm not pointing out a group or whatever and trying to like hate speech or anything like that. I'm just saying this is what articles have talked about. Fox News, TMZ, New York Post, all this other stuff. Also, he says, I ban everybody. In reality, ban who? He's only been banned for 3 days. It's hypocritical. So now you know that he's lying through his teeth. Also, he says he's not depressed. I'm gaslighting him. His audio sounds really depressed. And also, he actually says he's very depressed. On the very first post, can you help a hard case? I've been trying game for years and feel depressed for having little to no results. He tried Mystery, Justin Wayne, and his self-proclaimed high leg count guy and had nothing consistently works. For day game, he never got laid from it. He only showed up for 14 days before he quit in 2 weeks. But he blamed me. He never told people that he quit. He says he did not get laid or pulled. Well, he actually did not even finish the mindset playlist that other students can do. There's like 3 phases. But that's not the point. The point is that everything he's written is a narcissistic sociopath smear campaign. So that's the thing. Number 7, narc rage. This is a bad baby, is horrifying. In the true sense, narcissistic rage is the fury that is sparked by being unmasked. That's right. He has a narcissistic mask, a sociopathic mask. Whenever you unmask these people, they lose their minds. It's almost like you see the demonic person that is underneath. So, let's see. It says this video did not get any views yet. What the fuck? What, they're not going to count the views? Am I going to the wrong video? Let me see if it's actually going to go to the right video. It'll be funny if it went to a different one. No, this one's live. It should have some views. We'll continue, right? Even though we may not actually know the view count. There's no way it can give me 0 views. Okay, here it is. All right, 8 views. 10 views. All right, let's continue. So, it's a fury that's sparked by being unmasked, being found out. So, I call this narcissistic injury. All right? We want to get technical with psychology because I know psychology quite well. I spent many years studying psychology on my own. I've taken many online courses. This is why you see a lot of my courses, like mental trauma cure, works because, everyone that's gone through all the protocols have all been like, I'm not making any claims, but I do have it backed up. I do know my psychology, even though I have never studied to be a psychologist, but I have studied online. So I'm trained online. I took many online courses. I've learned every type of style. I wanted to learn about sociopaths because my father is a sociopath. So I wanted to know more about sociopaths in general. So I study everything I can for 10 years in psychology. That's why I have such a big knowledge. These articles only support my hypothesis of false accusations, guilt trip, pain point, circular reasoning. I made that 4 steps up, but they align perfectly with it. Let's continue. I was just saying, being found out, right? Unmasked, or realizing another sees through them for what they really are. And more than this, their own flash of insights that underneath their denial, they're always the very opposite of superior, always right, omnipotent, and always in control. That means that's not true, like of them. And this moment of comprehension is the narcissist injury. Oh, exactly what I said. I said narcissist injury, right? That term, I should not know that term. Nobody knows what narcissist injury means. But somehow I magically know it. But it says it right here. Narcissist injury. That flips the switch on white hot fury, expresses from the verbal through the physical aggression. So here's the thing. Narcissistic rage is a very real thing. Remember, though, the very narc survival is built on this cunning and manipulation, and they learn the impact that this rage has, and that any bully that will also feign narc rage to intimidate you into submission. So how to overcome the rot of the word salad, the narcissistic sociopath word salad? Although this is what the article says. Although I introduced this within the context of disorder, please don't confound this with being a system or a symptom of illness, as it would be, say, for schizophrenia. For the narcissistic personality individual, it is not. The word salad is used intentionally by the pathological narcissist to manipulate in the form of gaslighting so that you question yourself rather than continue questioning them. So basically, they're saying that they're bullying you, so you've been blaming yourself, torturing yourself. So recognize the gorgeous one that no amount of questioning, what does that mean, gorgeous? Or discussion with a narcissistic sociopath will ever lead to a positive outcome. That's why I just stopped talking with them. Why even bother? You can't win an argument because they cannot wait to have you defend them against it. Even their out account was like, go defend it, John. Ha 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 ha. Go defend it, John. Ha ha. They're like sadistic. They're sadistic people. Go defend it. I made an accusation. Now go make another video defending it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to point out the patterns here. Unmask them. So basically, the only way forward is to stop questioning yourself, hold the truth in for yourself with gratitude. So that's the first article from Maggie McGee, okay, for narcissisticabuseupport.com. All right. And we're going to go over to the second site. I have bookmarked these. So the reason why I'm reading these articles, which was a word salad. Oh, why are you reading the articles? And I had to defend myself. And the guy still attacked me afterwards. A different guy, not the original poster. He comes on my YouTube. He starts gaslighting me with false accusations. You know, oh, why didn't you student get laid? Like, whatever. Why did they only make like 5 approaches to get laid or something? And they don't have any skills. It's like, it doesn't even make sense what they're saying. But as I told him on the YouTube, this is a narcissistic word salad. You're using false accusations, pain points, guilt trips, circular reasoning. They still do it. Indians do it all the time. They press the button. They expect to cause like a bunch of damage. They think they're pressing a nuke button, and they press it over and over. Even though you explain to them, these narcissists cannot help it. I'm not saying that person is Indian, but I'm just saying a narcissistic sociopath will always use these. So the second article, okay, is that's the first one. So second article, hopefully it does not freeze it. Okay. The second article, let me see if I can make this window smaller. It's blocking my way. All right. This fucking thing is like blocking my way. It's like a Florida Women's Law Group.com. I cannot circle in on this article because it keeps like, whenever I go closer, it keeps saying, do you want to contact this person? No, I don't. Okay, I'm going to try read my best. I'm going to be closer to the camera, okay? The narcissist, I'm going to squint my eyes, okay? Like very small eyes that I have. So, all right. I'll try my best to read this. It's really hard to read this. I don't want to wear glasses, okay? If I have to wear glasses, I'll wear glasses. I don't have it with me right now. I've lost them. All right. The narcissistic word salad. Almost everything a narcissist does is about manipulation. Remember, this is a lawyer, okay? They always they are always manipulating someone, whether it's a spouse, friend, or relative or coworker, to feed their ego and replenish their supply. So this is called narcissistic supply. Some people can see right through them, but unfortunately, most get caught up in their cycle of abuse. That means the Reddit smear campaign. If you have a narcissist in your life, then you know the argument. The arguments, even constructive conversations, can be brutal and can make you feel as if you're going crazy. It's because they are manipulators and purposefully twist any conversation to maintain control over other person and deprive them of a voice. The narcissists use a word salad. So this is not some bullshit I'm making up. When I talk about the narcissistic word salad, this is definitely something real that is actually in articles. Give it a thumbs up. The whole smear campaign was fake. It's like fake news. So the narcissists use the narcissists use a word salad that they are confronted with something that they do not want to talk about, or if they're being called out. So you may have questions about their behavior or their relationship, or they could pick a fight with you and say something mean. It is not a matter of it started or who started it. They twist your words, exactly what happened. They take the word and twist it, confuse you to the point where you're doubting yourself and your belief. How to tell if you've been a victim of word salad? Exactly the same word. Remember we talked about circular reasoning? Once again, for this lawyer, they said, talk in circles. Talk in circles. The flashing neon sign is that if you're in the word salad conversation, is that you feel as if the narcissist is talking in circles and keeps bringing up the same things over and over again. Oh no, John's evil, right? He's mentally unstable. He killed another student or something like that. Or, he's racist, or, it's like he literally everything. Only a few students got laid in the account for most of the testimonials. All fucking lies, as you can see. You think they make a point and has been resolved, and a few minutes later, they bring up back the same thing again. After the thread been taken down, they do the same thing, making the exact points, word for word, with a different out account. They're trying to keep you engaged and keep it going so you're frustrated, accept blame, and end the conversation. Well, that's why I'm making this video, because now people know what a narcissistic sociopath word salad is. Before, you had no idea what the hell is a word salad. John, like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Word salad? Are you saying that you can eat words as a salad? Now everyone who watches this video will know exactly what a word salad is. So they keep trying to make you engage in going, so you get frustrated, accept the blame, end the conversation, they repeat themselves. Okay, conversations lack sense. Okay, that's true. Their hit piece lacks any sense. All parts of the word salad, they'll throw random words and comments into the conversation that has nothing to do with what you're talking about and make no sense. This is to throw you off and distract you from a point that you're trying to make. This confuses you and gets the conversation off in tangents that deflects from the main point. But that sounds very similar. This is more like a conversation word salad from a narcissistic sociopath. However, the smear campaign is written the same way. This is why it makes no sense whatsoever. They start saying words like churn, which makes no sense, and the students don't get results. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. I can post 669 latent poll testimonial screenshots in the community section easily. I may do that starting tomorrow. Every single day, we'll post like a new student being laid. Like, we'll start with the older ones and we'll work our way up. Okay? I'm the only coach who's still getting students laid with recent stuff. Other dating coaches using romantic flirts and stuff like that, and alcohol maxing, heavy bedroom masculation, they never got a student laid since 2021. They're just reposting the same fucking bootcamp documentaries over and over again. The same thing, just recycled, cut it further. People know when they buy their courses that it's the same shit they're recycling. That's the truth. So a narcissist is never wrong. So making excuses and accusations. So this is exactly the same thing I talk about false accusations. This lawyer, however, is speaking the same language. How could I figure this out? Because this pattern happened all the time. every single 100 laid and poll testimonials, I'm up to 669. Every 100, I get like 12 people that suicide bombs the shit out of my business, and I block them right away before they start attacking. If you try to answer the word salad, these demons, right? Worse than the far left will come and they'll start trying to talk with you more, kind of like talking to a Ouija board of demons, and they'll go fucking fuck you up. That's the truth. So a narcissist making excuses and accusations. A narcissist is never wrong, and nothing is ever their fault. Oh, exactly. If you confront them about something they said or something hurtful, they will have a handful of excuses to explain it. Usually the reason is because something you did. Therefore, they turn it back on you and blames you for their bad behavior. That's exactly what happened to me. They are very good at projection and accusations. They will hurl insults that are really their own fault, which is mentally unstable, which is failures. When they try to say my students fail, is not true. Most of them succeed. It's ridiculous because in the past, there used to be like 70% of them got laid and 80% pulled. That was before the pandemic and the inflation. They'll call you selfish, crazy, too sensitive, overly dramatic, a liar, and irrational. They have called me all these things. This lawyer has pinpointed the defamation. They are projecting onto you, and they're forced to defend yourself, and the spotlight is now on you and off them. Yep, that sounds perfectly aligned with the narcissistic sociopath smear campaign. Exactly perfectly aligned. So, denial is the next category. Okay, who's texting me now? Sorry, I had to take this. All right, denial. They never said it, they never did it, and they were never there. Oh, because they're using fucking out accounts, right? One out account gets taken down, then they use a second one to circumvent it. You could have undeniable proof. Pictures record. Oh, that sounds exactly like it. Because I did have undeniable proof, pictures recording. It doesn't matter. They'll deny everything and everything to make you look bad. They could tell you something and then minutes later deny ever saying it. They deny to protect themselves from their flaws. And their flaws is that they're type B clusters and type C clusters. That's narcissistic sociopath for type B with avoidant personality of type C. So we'll talk more about the cluster B, which has 4 different traits: antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, malignant narcissism, which is what they have, the evil types, the ones who are far left that celebrate Charlie Kirk's death. Those type of people who have no remorse. Then they have histrionic personality disorder, and they also have borderline personality disorder. So they're always triggered and they're always moody. So they'll tell you something and then minutes later deny ever saying it to protect themselves from flaws. This form of gaslighting, you continually denying something that makes you question your reality. And then when you start believing that you are the problem, that's the word salad manipulation. The next category, patronizing and condescending. As we have said many times before, a narcissist is never wrong in their own mind, right? Because they're narcissistic sociopaths. They have to win at all costs. They are superior to everyone and by far the smartest person in the room. Well, if they're really so smart, then how come I'm the only one getting students laid? Look at global game platform scamming network. Of all of these other dating coaches, none of them have laid testimonials in 2025 or 2024. Their game has expired. Their mystery method RSD bullshit. So according to them, it will make sense that any argument that you have with them will talk down to you and treat you like a child. They'll continue to talk in circles, exactly, and then get you confused and flustered. And the whole time they remain calm and condescending, like in their hit piece. When you react to it, even though it makes no sense, they'll copy and paste the same hit piece if it gets taken down. Then they'll call you unreasonable or out of control, which they call me mentally unstable. So the narcissist sees themselves as the external victim. Even though they did not do the homework for assignments, they will consistently make excuses, blame others for their actions or their type C personality, which is avoidance, along with type B clusters. And that's the thing. These word salad conversations are designed to punish you for calling them out, and will continue until you give up or accept that they were right all along, which is not true. They are the worst students of the year. My other students have gone through the mindset playlist. They have gone through many phases of it, and they haven't even started. They have bad mindsets. You will leave the conversation feeling emotionally drained, as if your concerns were never heard. They'll just keep laughing. If you try to defend yourself, they're like, please defend yourself, John. Please make more videos defending yourself. They act like the judge, jury, and executioner of the truth. And this, like I said, in the past, I used to have 12 people literally suicide bombing the shell of my business that shows up on YouTube or somewhere else before. And then when you block them, they get bored and they go attack somebody else. But when you argue with them, they'll start attacking other venues of your business. These people used to be called dark tetrad personality disorder, sadistic, sociopath, narcissist, Machiavellian manipulator. But according to DSM-5, which is the diagnostic manual for mental illnesses, they don't call it like Machiavellian or sadism. They just simply call it cluster B personality. Antisocial replaces sociopath and narcissism. And also, and Machiavellian is just basically replaced with Lenin narcissism. Does that make sense? As evil for sadism, it's the same thing. They just basically use narcissism to explain sadism and also to explain narcissism and also Machiavellian manipulation. So the result is you end up not engaging in conversation and bring up things that bother you because you know it'll end the same way. You know nothing will be accomplished and your feelings will not be validated. You'll be convinced the problem is you. They have conditioned you to stay silent and not to challenge them. Therefore, they can keep control over you. There is a way to successfully get out. Okay. All right. So basically, that is the second article. Now let's talk about the defense trap. Okay. Okay, here's some quotes from Psychology Today, right? What a smear campaign is, in case you don't know. Because we talked about smear campaign, but we had this in a YouTube live video before. A smear campaign is a planned effort to discredit a person or group. In this case, it's a person, that's me. On Reddit, 777,000 people. If I was suing for defamation, right? The bigger they try to damage my reputation, the bigger compensation I'll get. So to undermine their credibility, or in case mine, and to tarnish their reputation. Those who launch smear campaigns go to great lengths to spread stories, lies, rumors, and gossip about their victims. This is Psychology Today, which is the top articles with the most credibility. Okay? A smear campaign is basically a vendetta or act of retaliation. They are two of those who can be characterized as vengeful or vindictive, controlling or obsessive. Such individuals also insecure, emotionally immature, which talks about cluster B personality. Smear campaigns involve manipulation, and they are often a behavior of a malignant narcissist. That's what the article says. That's exactly what I've been talking about for cluster B. And those with narcissistic, this is what it says, narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, and antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, which is in a diagnostic manual, number 5. Exactly what I said. So this thing supports my claims. And those informally known as sociopath and psychopath. These are more sociopath than psychopath. Because psychopaths don't have empathy. Sociopaths do not have guilt. So whenever they are attacking, they don't feel guilt and remorse. They have no feelings. Even when you tell them that they sound depressed, since they have no feelings whatsoever, they're going to deny it and say, oh, you're trying to gaslight me. That's the truth. That's the truth. These people are really insufferable. So, what does a smear campaign look like? Individuals who run smear campaigns, they feel wronged and seek to punish those as being at fault, even if they quit, right? And they blame me, and they had avoidant personality, not even showing up for the drills. They only showed up for 12 drills in 14 days. They only made 17 approaches. But with so little drills, there's no change in their habits. They are the abusers who paint the victim as the abusers because they see themselves as the victim. These people are incapable of taking responsibility or accountability for their actions. They mount smear campaigns to control the narrative and often to rewrite history. That's exactly right. Even though when they're caught in a lie, they try to rewrite history with their smear campaign. Smear campaigns amount to character assassination, according to Psychology Today. The abuser has the intention of damaging a target's reputation, and if they're successful, they'll feel like they have won. They want to protect their own public perception and to make the victim appear to be the crazy one. So to execute the smear campaign, the individual grooms other people over time, like on Reddit. That's what they try to do, but people are not buying it. They're not buying it because even my students have shown up on there and they have defended me, which is great. People have seen that they're lying through their teeth. I read one article of students defending me. So it doesn't make any sense. In the comments, they're all defending me. Many students, which is strange. I never expected that, them to make a post like that. They just couldn't believe that someone could slander me like that. But that's the thing. The individual grooms other people over time to function as allies or followers. So this is what they call they do this by spreading false or exaggerated information. You see that? Exaggerated information, false. All of it is false. You get it? False accusations, guilt trip, pain point, circular reasoning. While they often share private, true information, yeah, I do have supplements for my students, but it's not true that it killed somebody. That was completely defamation of character. And that is just vicious, aiming to turn other people against that person. So those recruited by the abusers to actively participate in their own or their manipulation becomes an entourage known as the flying monkeys. So this term comes from the Wizard of Oz, in which the Wicked Witch of the West, she puts on a troop of winged monkeys, right? I don't remember this, or I haven't seen this movie before, but I know of it. But according to this movie, a bunch of flying monkeys does the evil work of the Wicked Witch. That's what they try to do with the Reddit people, because they're narcissistic sociopaths. And they put troops of winged monkeys under her spell to do their bidding, like having more abuse. Does that make sense? So let's go to the next article. Okay, so that's an attorney article. What's the next one? So number 1, 2. Okay, this one's from abusewarrior.com. Let's see what it has to say. If it actually supports all these other things I've been saying all along, or I'm just making this stuff up. Okay, what is a narcissistic word salad? 14 word salad strategies. Let's see if there's anything in common. These articles cannot all be lying. I mean, it's on Psychology Today. They cannot just all lie through their teeth. Give it a thumbs up. This is a great video. You're learning a lot about psychology. Give it a thumbs up, because I'm going to talk more about psychology, that you guys will have the knowledge of actual psychologists in the future. Nothing I say is just some, sociopathic rambling of my opinions as facts, like a narcissist. They all are supported by articles from Psychology Today, from attorneys, and also from other articles. Give it a thumbs up. Right now, there is 6 likes. Let's try to give it some more likes. Yo, what's up for a prime time 2? What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? So if you have any comments, feel free to start saying anything. All right. So salads, 14 word salad strategy. Sorry, I just gotta take this. All right, let's continue. So I generally write. Okay. All right, it's just a disclaimer, right? So, have you ever wondered what goes on through a narcissistic sociopath's mind when you're attempting to talk things out? Remember, I've never read these articles entirely before. I didn't have time. So there's no way I could just fake this and, whatever. I never read these. If they match what I'm saying, then that's good. Okay? It is possible that logic, rationality, and relevance to the topic you're all missing entirely. You're probably getting a serving of narcissistic sociopath word salad. Without a doubt, this is gaslighting tactic is insane. Like all the hit pieces are like that. Even all the attacks on Donald Trump is like that. And Charlie Kirk calling him a fascist is like that. These are nasty, nasty people. On the other hand, it's an opportunity to witness the lunacy in all its glory. A few warning signs of word salads includes A, the conversation is going nowhere. B, the relationship isn't going anywhere. It can't be working through problems together. It's impossible. And C, your conversation partner is pathologically egotistical. Well, that sounds like it because this person is a malignant narcissist, the worst type. So how to spot the main ingredients described in this article to recognize a narcissistic word salad. Refrain from biting from now on, and you will be one step closer to ending the cycle of abuse. So warning signs of trauma bonding. What is trauma bonding? How to cope. Okay. Psychologists. So, okay, what's the narcissistic word salad definition? We'll skip this part about schizophrenia, which is closer to type A personality cluster. So the narcissistic word salad is a verbal assassination. Well, it sounds like it. The term word salad refers to a circular, once again, circular language. See, they use different words. Circular reasoning, circular wording, circular language. It's always circular. You see that? Like a carousel, goes round and round in a circle. Block out the good, block out the bad, let in the good. Circle, all good things. They're like cycle. All right, that's Happy Gilmore reference. But that's exactly like they all use the same words. How do they all know this word circular reasoning? That you're supposed to defend against yourself. It's like a shit test for day game. The word salad refers to a circular language tactic used by one individual to ensure that the talk is never ends positively for the other. It is a technique for exerting influence over another person's views or ideas, emotional response, or access to information. So blame shifting, projection, gaslighting, stonewalling, sympathy ploys, or playing the victim, equivocating, changing the subject, and putting the partner on the defensive, among other techniques, may be utilized. The objective of the narcissistic word salad is to use our own conversations against us. Though these manipulative conversation strategies, narcissists convince us and others that we are the issue and deny us a voice. So how in the world is this even possible? They accomplish this by denying us the right to express an opinion, emotion, or ideas in response to anything that they do. So, for example, if I say they're the worst student of the year and they don't want others to know that, they'll deny. So each contact is meant to divert, punish, or belittle us until we give up and accept their version of reality, which is the smear campaign. So why is there not more people here? What the fuck? Let me post this again. Why is there not more people here? Ridiculous. Let me post it again to my main channel. Because I think this is a very important topic. It should not be ignored. Sorry, I used the wrong channel. Let's try to get back to the original one. Come on now, we need more people, more likes. Spread to the algorithms. Okay. Where's the... All right, let's continue. So each contact is meant to divert, punish, or belittle us to give up and accept their version of reality. I'll read it faster so we can get through it. Over the course of the relationship, narcissist partner learn to walk a line that language divides. Conversation serves as a focal point for resolving conflicts. We may either accept a pathological worldview in which we are blamed for generalizing issues by talking, while the narcissistic sociopath person is not held accountable for wrongdoing, which is them quitting day game, blaming me for everything, and then expecting a refund, even though it is their fault for having a type B cluster and type C avoidant cluster. Or we can continue to speak up and risk greater humiliation, threat, and abuse. So what triggers a narcissistic word salad? When healthy people attempt to resolve their disagreements, the goal is to reach a middle ground and benefits all sides. This approach is accomplished by awareness, politeness, and open communication. I signed an NDA with this person, a non-disclosure agreement for him not to attack me on Reddit as he threatened me to, because he extorted $400 out of me, claiming that he would strike my payment processor, just for that. And he still attacked anyway. So it's just defamation. And also this is like extortion. And also like these are multiple crimes. I have a very high chance of winning this court case. So compromises are gradually worked out through a process of reciprocal listening and sharing. At least that's what I thought was happening. The incentive is to obtain mutually beneficial outcomes. I try to do that with the NDA agreement, because there is a genuine concern for other person and investment in seeking answers, despite the fact that it's often difficult. But now let's talk about the narcissistic sociopath, about the NDA agreement, shall we? So this is not the case with the aggressive narcissist. The NPD mindset lacks the qualities and incentives necessary for collaborative and empathetic participation. Any attempts to handle any situations or issues that may give you problems, regardless of how you go on about it, are extremely dangerous to the narcissist. So he's saying that NDA is dangerous. You might as well just break it. This is because a narcissist's entire existence focuses around supporting the false self-belief system they have created. It's the same fucking Reddit system that mystery method and RSD is the only solution to all the problems in day game. Because in the past, they used to get laid. For the last 2 years, 777,000 people did not get laid. And the only person that got laid was a natural. A guy was a black guy who's a natural. He claims he got laid. He shows no pictures, no proof. He wrote a great fanfic, but it is possible. But he's a natural. He's not the same as the zombies. So therefore, on Reddit, nobody's getting laid for 2025. I'm the only one getting people laid. And my students who got laid showed up and defended me, not on their post, but on the other post, although it doesn't have my name on it. Make sense? Anything that questions a narcissist's authority, dominance, or superiority or entitlement is prohibited and triggers defense mechanisms. As a result, any attempt to hold the narcissist accountable or any refusal to a given demand results in serving of the word salad among the abusive reactions. This article is so accurate. Is saying that even if you try to make a win-win situation, signing a non-disclosure agreement, and I have posted it, they don't care. They will word salad you afterwards and smear campaign you. This article is so accurate. I can't believe it. So the machinations buried in the word salad are designed to keep the narcissistic sociopath from addressing a reality in which they may be problematic. To maintain their false views, they assign the whole ownership of any problems to you. That's right. They blame you for everything. This is how it works, and by any means required. So, narcissistic word salad strategies. Jackson McKenzie is a famous author on the subject of narcissistic abuse. In his book, Psychopath Free, he states that narcissists use discussions as a key means to eroding their partner's identities. He may have been the first to introduce the term word salad. Oh, that's cool. So this guy invented the word salad. All right. To refer to these circular dialogues. So the very first guy in the world to talk about word salads is the first one to talk about circular. So the circular wording, circular reasoning is always the word circular. It's not something I made up. When I say circular, it means that they say, like, this is the false accusation, this is the guilt trip, this is the pain point, this is the circular reasoning. They want to fight in a circle, like they want to roll in the mud like a pig. And that's what they do. With the circular dialogues discussing narcissistic abuse, he outlines the 9 warning signals that are now engaged in one of these talks. Number 1, absolute lack of logic. The gibberish they're talking about, the Reddit thread that emerges, will drive you insane. It is the very definition of verbal mayhem. That's right. The entire thing was a hit piece. It made no sense to me. I didn't even know what to defend, so I stopped defending it. But now it makes sense when you read all these articles. As epic thoughts, dreams, and fantasies, sweeping opinions based on falsehoods. Exactly. Oh yeah, John, is only certain students get laid. The rest of it's a term. I don't even know what the fuck they're even trying to say. Like, who talks like that? Sounds like a complete cycle. Based on falsehoods and driven by whims. They are not. Okay, so they're merely delusionary asses. Okay, that's interesting. Number 2, circular discussions. You may feel like you have been addressing an issue during the conversation. Still, a few minutes later, they're discussing it again as if the narcissist didn't hear any of your points. That's right. Even though I made some very good counterpoints before, trying to defend my reputation, which made it a lot worse on the thread before it got taken down, they still reposted everything to a new audience. They defend their views repeatedly as in their realm that they can't listen to you or they don't register your remarks. But that's okay, because now I made a video debunking them step by step, literally, on YouTube. My very last video talking about the narcissistic word salad, was exactly debunking every single point that they made. And I think I did a pretty good job of it, but people are still turned off, which is very strange, because this video.
Opinions and fair comment based on records in my possession, not medical or legal advice.
Redacted for privacy. I correct material errors. If you Google my name, you might see a Reddit review before you Google my site, John Elite. This isn't a review. They never looked at the course. They start with Elite Access, not the whole Elite Bundle Resurrections. It's meant to turn you off before you meet me and try to turn off.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. They never actually went through my course. I told them, do not start Elite 30 yet. They wanted to. And they said, why can't I start Elite 30? I was like, no, you want to do Elite Access first, break some habits, and go back to Elite 30. So they never actually seen my course. How could they give a review? How can they give a review of my course?
177,000 people on Reddit in a seduction forum. Watch the video all the way to see the screenshot evidence. A smear campaign is a planned effort to discredit a person or group and tarnish their reputation. Psychology Today. Smear campaigns involve manipulation, often the behavior of malignant narcissists, and those with NPD or antisocial personality disorders. Patterns, not diagnosis. Psychology Today. Those recruited by the abusers become an entourage known as the flying monkeys. Psychology Today.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about it.
And opinions of B-cluster style patterns, not diagnosis. I'll show the claims, the facts, then my take. You decide. The video reflects my opinion based on records in my possession. Messages, timestamps received. I'm describing behavioral patterns, not making medicals and psychological diagnosis. Private details are redacted. If I learn of any material errors to me, your system can obviously work very well, as you can see in the screenshot. 10 to 14 days, he rage quit in the same day another Chinese student.
So basically, a Chinese student got laid, and he got really fucking angry. Who got laid? Can you see it? This guy. You can see his marriage over here. You can see him proposing. These are all true. You can see his first white girl he banged, a Russian. Oh, he got so angry because of cluster B personality. He beat himself up completely. And I had other students with cluster B personality. I always say the same thing to them. Listen, do not rage quit, right? And they still do. Here's another student that got laid right now. He got a stripper. I said this to another student. They always are really angry. They always get triggered because of the cluster B personality, which is antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, narcissistic personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and also, what's the last one? Borderline personality disorder. These very moody types. But this guy said my system can work. But then he says my system don't work on the hit piece.
Who got 15 likes, 5 models, 5 white girls, 2 actresses in the marriage.
Yeah.
He had a daughter. He described himself as having thin skin as he's crashing out. So for online, he flips it. He did not get laid. He didn't pose. That's what he said. But in my view, you cannot rage quit in 2 weeks and claim the system failed. That's hypocrisy.
How can he quit in 2 weeks and say my system doesn't work, only using Elite Access? Maybe he can critique Elite Access, but it doesn't take 2 weeks. Nobody got laid in 2 weeks, but I should not defend myself. If I defend myself against circular reasoning, then he's going to be so happy because he's a malignant narcissist. It'll make him so much joy because of sadism.
He never seen the digital courses on Elite Bundle Resurrections either. I said in the screenshot. He wanted to start Elite 30, but I didn't let him. As you can see right here highlighted. He only went for Elite Access. I cited in the screenshots, and I didn't let him start. How can
Yeah.
you make a fair objective review on Reddit?
This is what he says. Checking in every day. That means he doesn't want to check in every day to do his homework, which he did not. Or else I'm banned. Being told not to study the course materials. He's talking about Elite 30, Elite Playbook, and singing and breathing for a week and other reasons. So he's telling me due to Reddit's mystery method and RSD method that I'm wrong. He's trying to say that the other stuff works, which does not work. He's like delusional. What the fuck?
Actually, hit piece, in my opinion. Number 2, initial contact. Proof of emotional blindness. First message. I feel like I'm a hard case. Depressed, ghosted, ignored.
So he said he's depressed, ghosted, ignored, right? I've been trying game for a few years and feel depressed about little to no results. So if he's struggling, he's not the only one. Everyone from Reddit for the last 2 years with direct game, almost nobody got laid. This year, only a natural got laid. And last year, 3 people got laid. I saw all the things. That's it. The whole Reddit, 777,000 in the R seduction forum, only like 1 person got laid. And that guy writes fantastic stories. Even when my students made a thread to defend me, 15 minutes afterwards, or around 45 minutes afterwards, he writes another fantastic story that he bangs a college woman who's 8.5 out of 10 and blonde. Who knows if it's true or not, or is this cluster B, like grandiose, right? And also somatic narcissism, trying to brag about his body for having more testosterone. They're all cluster B, right? They're all cluster B over there, the whole forum are narcissistic sociopaths. But if he did get laid, and it is possible, I'm just saying.
Words. Later in his Reddit rant, he says that he wasn't depressed, that he was gaslit, and I labeled him. That does not sound confident. When someone says hard case, but refuses the drills and to flip their own words, that's typically not coachable in my experience. If it's under unteachable case, not hard case in my opinion. Dismissive narcissistic style, low self-awareness. Number 3, voice playback, emotional disconnect. On the playback, opponent's tone was flat. He replied, I try to mimic Joe Rogan, I guess not.
So basically, he has very monotone tonality. We played his audio on the YouTube live, and it sounds completely depressed, monotone, but he cannot hear it. He has an emotional disconnect. Most people with cluster B personality and they're borderline, they get triggered and stuff. The more triggered that they get, the less feelings that they have. Hey, what's up? The less feelings that they actually have. When they have less feelings, it's almost like the woke far left who are praising Charlie Kirk's death. They have no emotions. They're getting fired over it from their job because they seem like demons. These type of people do not have any emotions. That's why they can write smear campaigns and they can backstab you and defame you, and they don't even care.
You've seen the screenshots. He literally admitted that he could not hear it himself. In my view, that's emotional blindness, style behavior, not connected to.
Basically, there's a term called alexithymia, which is called emotional blindness. You cannot read the emotions in yourself and others. So I can read the emotions of people. I have empathy. I have remorse. I have emotions. Before, like long time ago, my emotions were not very strong. But when I went through mental trauma cure, my program, they all came back. It may not be as strong as like most of the general population, but it is way stronger than all of you guys. I could feel it. When a guy like him has no remorse and no empathy and no guilt, they can screw you over when they get triggered, having no emotions.
No ability to register mistakes. He later spun it as gaslighting, but the evidence showed that he said it first. Number 4, progress and quit. Not enough to change habits. He logged in 12 drills only, really bad drills. 17 approaches, which are
12 drills and 17 approaches. What the fuck? I have all the dates of the drills.
less than 10 seconds each approach. Across 14 days, 17 approaches with audio, which is literally just 10 seconds or 20 seconds of audio. Over 14 days where he rage quit because of that Chinese student procreating. I have the chart. As you can see, I logged in all the times that he approached. We could show every screenshot, but there's big gaps. Skip check-ins. As he says, why do I have to check in every day? He even complained, why do I have to check in every single day as you can see in the screenshot? In my view, habits don't transform without sporadic effort. Quitting before the foundation.
Yeah, what the fuck? He doesn't want to show up. That's a type C personality. Type C is the type that likes to disappear, and it's called avoidant personality disorder. Type B is the narcissistic sociopath. Type C is the avoidant types, OCDs and other different things. Type A, so what the fuck is type A? If there's a type B and there's a type C. Type A is the schizophrenic types. These are the people that are very delusional, and in real time, their thoughts change and they see like a different reality. You know, the psychotic episode types. So that's type A, type B, narcissistic sociopath, type C, avoidant. Make sense? He's very avoidant. He has type B and type C.
Even doesn't prove failure. It proves avoidance. Number 5, NDA, $400 goodwill payment.
The reason why I can say that, I'm not saying any individual, just a disclaimer. I'm only talking about this person who I already redacted all their names. So it's not like I'm talking about any specific individuals, but their character traits.
To contract without remorse. He signed a non-disparagement NDA. It took $400 goodwill payment. As you can see in the screenshot, that he ignored it and he made a smear campaign anyways. This.
Yeah, he signed a document because he actually extorted me and says, if you don't pay me back my money, even though I have a no refund policy, I will strike your YouTube and I will fuck you up. And he's so manipulative. I said, like, he didn't pay like $1,000 of Elite Bundle Resurrection. He only paid $900 Elite Bundle 2. I updated the course with Elite Tonality Mastery that has gotten a lot of students laid. That was the big secret sauce, because he cannot hear emotions and mistakes in his voice. Tonality, because of the inflation and the tariff, your voice can sound very stressed out. Your voice can sound like really, you can start to have like a lethargic and depressive sigh at the end of the sentence. He didn't even hear that because he's broke. All the people for his business are paid for Filipino or Filipina people that are remote workers looking for leads. So therefore, his job, if they were not doing that, then he'll have no leads, but he has to pay them a lot of money. He's broke. He can barely afford this course and the supplements and everything.
Posted statement, I believe, are inconsistent with that agreement. I can't speak to his intent, but I'm only noticing the discrepancy. It really says that he cannot write a hit piece. Number 6, scope of access, not full program review. He never started Elite Bundle Resurrections.
Yeah, he didn't start. What the fuck? How can you give a review if you never started my courses?
He got Elite Bundle 2 at a time, and he did not access the digital courses there. His experience was limited to Elite access. In my opinion, presenting that as a review of my full system is misleading, as you can see in the screenshot. He cannot even start Elite 30. Number 7, supplements, the real deal. His claim was that irresponsible prescriptions. Well, that's false. I don't prescribe anything. These are open.
Yeah, he's saying that I killed a student with supplements. What the fuck? And he says because it gives you like a stroke. That's in the brain. In reality, the other guy had a blood clot in his lung. That's not related. That's a different issue. That's not related to the supplements. That's a personal issue that has nothing to do with the supplements. But instead, he tried to make a stroke supplement for alpha GPC, which you can get a stroke in 10 years if you take it if you're older, or it raises the risk. Doesn't mean you'll get a stroke, but it raises the risk. But he tried to tie that fucking stroke risk into me killing the student. That guy's vicious. So he turns off people with a narcissistic smear campaign without any facts whatsoever. Give it a thumbs up.
Over-the-counter Amazon available optional over-the-counter items that aren't prescriptions. Only doctors can prescribe. This student never used them. He placed 2 duplicate orders by accident, posting unopened. On the phone, he said that I'd rather get everything from food. I'm worried about side effects because he's a vegetarian. He later reframed this as death by supplements because a student died. In reality, the case he cited involves a lung clot, not a stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
A stroke is in the brain. This is a different condition entirely when he's referencing alpha GPC. He's trying to make something fit that doesn't fit. His hypocrisy is that he's credited in the vegetarian themed film that he filmed and produced and wrote.
He literally has a fucking vegetarian film over here, as you can see it right here. It actually says like meatless barbecue. Who the fuck makes a film that there's such a devout vegan who never tried a supplement in their life? And that's why he told me on the phone, John, I could do everything that you say except for supplements because I'm a vegetarian and I can get everything from food. Can I please do this from the food? It's like, dude, vegetables only have like 4 fucking minerals. Yeah, but because I'm worried about the side effects. But he made this into a murder thing with a false accusation. That's a very vicious person. That's a narcissistic sociopath.
Called meatless barbecue in 2018 while attacking supplements he never tried because he's a vegetarian. His anti-supplement stance.
The fucking movie's on IMDb. That's an actual real movie. If that's on there, it means the movie has been sold. And I'm not sure, but I need to look into it. But this is actually a real movie. Such a devout vegan should not be commenting on these things that he has no idea about because they chat GPT and they looked up like what's the side effects.
Plus zero usage, misframed medical claims, outrageous narrative is not evidence. Number 8, bans the truth. He claims that weeks of bans, stuck in limbo, no coaching. Well, that's false.
And here's a fucked up thing. It says, I wrote, you're banned for 3 days over here. You're banned for 3 days. I put under the red. He made it into like, oh, you get banned for weeks and indefinite in limbo. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's false accusations, guilt trips, pain points, circular reasoning. Banned for 3 days for accountability. Who gives a fuck? That's so short. That's the shortest ban I've ever had all year. And he says, oh, you kick out all the students. It's like, dude, I've only kicked out one student, Indian guy, who basically kept, with such borderline personality, he just kept beating himself up. In fact, he might be here. So one of you guys are actually the person I kicked out. Sorry about that. But you didn't do any of the work. You just kept beating yourself up, and you're making the whole group like upset. And then now they got laid, and then it's like, well, just one person.
In reality, I rarely ban students at all. At most, 1 indefinite ban per year. Normal for short, 1 to 2 weeks max. And students come back more disciplined, not stuck in limbo. They don't do it again. Most students are never banned at all. Most students do not experience attention or avoidance issues. And they progress without pauses. A short reset spun into a smear about permanent bans on Reddit. Number 9, testimonials, street numbers. His claim was that a few students make up all the testimonials. Well, that's false. During active coaching, each layer...
Oh, that's so vicious when he says that only a few students equals all the 669 latent poll testimonials. Oh, that's so vicious. That's like trying to go for the money and a juggler, trying to cut off any money from people training with me. After all these late testimonials, no matter how many I posted, right? As you can see, people will get turned off because they listen to this bullshit. Oh, well, I guess all the testimonials, only a few people get laid, so it won't be. That is such a lie. I don't feel like defending myself. I'm just going to post all 669 laid and post testimonials in the community section. You guys can judge for yourself. We can go through every single fucking testimonial.
For example, you got 8 lays. It'll count as 8 to the number. If a student disappears for months and later reports more results, I log that as 1 additional instance for that student, not 1 per lay. One guy had 12 lays. He came back 4
Yeah,
months.
one guy had like fucking 100 lays, but it only counted as 1. It wasn't like 669 becomes 769. It was never a jump. It's always slow increment. But rather than defending myself, I don't feel like it. You guys can see the patterns, right?
He took a break, but he has 3 additional lays. He made 3 more video testimonials, but I only count that as a number as 1. I don't add 3 more. If it was just lay counts, they'll have over 1,600. The example is student with 100 lays. He credited my coaching a year later when he came back. It's only recorded as 1, not 100. If I inflate the numbers by counting off every off-program lay, the total will be over 1,000.
I mean, if one student gets laid like 12 times, but he came back, maybe he got angry at me because I banned him for like a week. And then he came back in 4 months and he got 3 more lays. He made me 3 more video testimonials. Everything counts as 1 instance. Like one big garbage bag. We just throw all in there. 3 lays. It still counts as 1. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to overcount things. I have to be very ethical with my counting. I'm not like tall, self-proclaimed high lay count coach who is super popular. Every single positive YouTube comment now becomes a testimonial. How can you verify it? Even if they say, oh, the coach is legit, that's a testimonial. Or they got late, but they never is from day game. And how can you verify all these people on YouTube? It could be real, in my opinion, allegedly, but we don't know for sure. How could those be testimonials? I mean, is that the only, like, it's like a very low bar to use YouTube comment. I could use a positive YouTube comment as another testimonial.
100 plus. You do not see a sudden 100 plus lays for the number this year.
Okay, this is taking too fucking long. But yes, now you understand, right? All these are lies. This is perfect. This is perfectly aligned with the narcissistic word salad. So let me continue. Let me turn back the fan on. It's really hot in here. Can you guys still hear me? I need to turn on the fan a little bit more. All right. So basically, number 3, emphasizing your past wrongdoings while ignoring theirs. Bring up any of their inappropriate behavior. They'll bring it up anything that you did to divert attention and put you on the defensive. It may be not significant at all. This sort of conversational diversion. Number 4, patronizing and condescending tone. They will maintain their composure during the conversation. However, you will become increasingly perplexed and befuddled as a fucking circular conversation descends into an irrational area. It's already irrational, everything they say. They act as if they're not hearing you or acknowledging what you're saying. And when you react angrily, they'll respond as though you're being unreasonable and that your reaction against them, allegedly, you're out of control or escalating the situation. Number 4, overgeneralizations, rash convictions, a lack of introspection, shallowness, and superficial knowledge about anything. Like they don't know shit, right? That they may be construed as omnipotence are the pinnacle of narcissism. Yeah, they all made up shit, right? Their own stupid backwards logic. Number 5, accusing. The word's accusing. Exactly what I said. Number 1, accusations or false accusations. Number 2, guilt trip. Number 3, pain point. Number 4, circle reason. Number 5, okay, over here. Accusing you of performing acts that they perform. Oh, so that's like projection. Okay? As they progress, the narcissist will begin projecting their negative conduct onto you. Once you spend time defending yourself, which I've done, I fucked up. The focus shifts away from what they have done. In the first month, I have fucked up by making videos to defend myself, which I have taken down. I have fucked up because I did not post the receipts early enough because it was a very complex video to make. I fucked up in letting people get turned off. They'll usually be turned off for many months, and that's their plan. So here's the number 6. Numerous personas. Narcissists employ a variety of strategies and demonstrate a variety of personalities. You may detect hostility and insults as well as tenderness, or they may attempt to play the victim card. In reality, they have a ton of out accounts. One out account gets taken down and they use another one with exactly the same fucking smear campaign. Regardless matters whether the narcissist is friendly, neutral, or hostile. This is basically their fucking out accounts. All these strategies support the narcissist's objective. Even though the narcissist appears conciliatory, this is because the narcissist believes that is the best course of action at the time and may change their conduct at any point. Number 7, projection and blaming. Oh man, that's fucking bad. When confronted with a narcissist, they're the most amusing people you will ever meet. Nevertheless, you must have a good memory and analytical ability. Confront them with direct questions and facts, and they'll wait for them to respond. They'll bounce everything off back to you without shred of logic or evidence. Well, that sounds exactly like them. Number 8, denial and gaslighting. This falls under the same category as previous. Number 7, narcissists are traumatized by the truth, guilt, and shame. And the exposure causes them CPTSDs. I'm not sure what the hell does that mean. The only way for them to recover is through offense, attacks, lies, and fact twisting, self-deception, hatred, and falsehoods. It is their preferred domain. Number 9, winning and losing. It's all about that. While you're attempting to reason with them rationally, the narcissistic sociopath mentality is preoccupied with winning, appearing superior, better, stronger, more righteous, and omnipotent. Number 10, the narcissistic rage. It can be extremely frightening. It is their fury that is ignited by being uncovered that constitute true narcissistic rage, being discovered or realizing that someone else sees them for who they really are. Just like me, I can see right through them. All the articles, identical. Every single article talks about their behavior. This is clearly a narcissistic, sociopathic behavior. We're not talking about like directly about individual. We're talking about their traits. Sounds exactly the same. It is uncanny how perfect it is when you look at the narcissistic sociopath. Exactly what they sound like. Let me just make sure that people show up. Post it on the second channel again. Yo, I'm live. Where are you? Great video, right? Psychology. People loves this topic. All right. All right. Now it's on the second page. That's great. We need more views. It has stalled a little bit. Give it a thumbs up, guys, please. It'll be good for the algorithms. Just continue. So their narcissistic rage of being discovered, of realizing that someone else sees through them, which I do. Furthermore, it's their own flash of understanding that behind their denials, they are polar opposites of superior, or always right, omnipotent, and in complete control of their way of desire. Okay, I'll go as fast as I can. Number 11, eternal sufferer. The narcissist frequently justifies their actions by relating it to something negative that has happened to them. Number 12, you begin defining fundamental human emotions. You may find yourself needing to explain how and why they did the things they did, as well as the essential principles of a relationship, such as respect and honesty. You believe that if you communicate these things, they'll cease. Justification. This thing will go on forever, right? So I think overall, I think this article is quite long. Let's just skip over to solutions, circular conversations, how to deal with them, and what to avoid. Okay, let's just get right to we'll skip to the solutions. All right. Don't say anything that has already been spoken. Oh, interesting. If you already answered the question, don't explain or respond to it. So they're trying to say, do not continue the word salad. Do not fight with them like a pig in the mud. Do not act irrational, such as shaming or slamming doors or storming out. Okay. Don't attempt to be the last one to speak. Okay. Don't wait for someone to confirm your feelings. Okay. Don't try to persuade other person to change their views. I guess you can't, right? Their feelings, opinions, and beliefs are all their own. Don't try to manipulate the feeling of the other person. Do not attempt to make them feel guilty, remorse, or sympathetic. So we cannot make them feel like they have been fucking failures in day game who has been like the worst student of the year. Okay. Focus on discussing your own wants and feelings rather than describing that other person's behavior, sentiments, or actions. To conclude the conversation, don't wait for an agreement or consensus. It's natural and suitable for two people to come together, come to different findings, interpretations, and conclusions in the same experience. So what should you do? Recognize the recurring pattern. Recognize that you're having a conversation is just going on in circles. Accept that the feelings aren't essentially good or evil. They're simply that they are. Circumstances, emotional, brain chemistry, and various other factors all contribute to the feeling. You can't control how you feel. Neither can the other person with a personality disorder. They're talking about cluster B personality and cluster C avoidance. Cluster B. It's just a normal reaction to what they have been through. So for them, that's how their brain works. Change the tone from facts to feelings. Describe your sentiments rather than your surface to the other person. I think that you are lying. Don't say that is not a feeling at all. That's merely a viewpoint. Say something like, I'm terrified or I'm hurt. You don't have to explain yourself. That's the nice thing about expressing your feelings is that no one else can disagree with you. End the conversation in a calm and dignified manner. Yeah, this is how I ended a conversation last time with another like fucking word salad. Another guy showed up on YouTube and he acted exactly the same as the smear campaigner. He starts making all sorts of weird false accusations against me. Oh, you make the students like quit or something. Or else like, oh, your students don't have any skills because they only made very few approaches. You know, they get laid in very few approaches. They have the most skills, but don't defend yourself. Not only did he attack me on YouTube, I blocked him. And then he attacked me on Reddit too. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? It's like, this is not the only person doing it. It's almost like something that is genetic, like cluster B personality. That's the end of this article. Don't argue with them. Okay? So let's talk about the next thing, right? What is cluster B personality disorder? You might be wondering, like, John, you keep saying cluster B, cluster B. What is cluster B, John? You talk about something we don't understand. Okay, we'll talk about it. So, let's see here. I'm just switching this back. Yo, I hope more people are showing up. Psychology is a very wonderful topic. People really enjoy. All right, let's continue. We don't have time to dwell on these things. I just got to speak the truth, and then I have things that back me up. All right. So let's talk about it. Okay, cluster B personality disorder. So what's a narcissistic sociopath word salad? I mean, number 1 is false accusations. Number 2 is guilt trips. Number 3 is pain points. Number 4 is circular reasoning, defending yourself, and arguing in a circle. This is verbal violence for a narcissistic sociopath. The cluster B personality types. Okay, let's talk about it. So what the fuck is cluster B? Cluster B personality disorders are a group of personality disorders characterized by dramatic, emotional, and erratic behavior, which sounds exactly like the narcissistic sociopath. This cluster includes 4 specific disorders. Number 1, antisocial personality disorder involves a disregard for the rights of others and social norms. That's like a smear campaign. Number 2, borderline personality disorder, characterized by the inability in relationships, self-image, and emotions. Yeah, you know, borderline personalities are really nasty people because they're very moody people. But that explains why a lot of Redditors are always moody and they're always triggered. Number 3, histrionic personality disorder marked by excessive emotional and attention-seeking behavior, like a drama queen. Well, in their occupation, they do that. Number 4, narcissistic personality disorder. We'll go into details of different type of narcissistic personality disorders. So, for example, narcissistic personality disorders, okay, they involve a pattern of grandiosity, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. That's right. They have all these issues. It's not like something I'm making up. So let's talk about narcissism. For you and a lot of people, this could be the very first time that you've heard about these things, okay? I'm going to talk about other psychological topics. So, smear campaigns, evil backstabbers, lack of remorse. So, what's the first type of narcissism? Okay, guys are ready for it? The first one's called somatic narcissist. What's a somatic or narcissist? On Reddit, right? These are obsessed with physical appearance, fitness, and sexual attractiveness. Body, look, sexual appeal, overt. On Reddit, there was a guy who was a natural who just kept talking about how he's eating some more protein and he has more testosterone. So therefore, he has muscles. So therefore, that person, technically speaking, fits in with somatic narcissism. Like I said, this is brand new. For a lot of you, you've never heard this topic before. This is the first time I'm talking about it. So what's the second type of narcissism? Like I said, I'm introducing new topics. When I teach you these things, all of you will know the same things as I do. Forever, everyone will know all these terms. And cluster B, everyone will be experts at it. So when the sociopath tries to do these things, you'll know. So what's number two? The second one is called grandiose. So these are loud, arrogant. They seek admiration. They lack empathy. They're looking for status and power and recognition. Does that make sense? This is the overt, grandiose type. These are the guys who basically have this sort of megalomania. They think they're the best at something. In reality, imagine they brag that they're the best day game coach in the world and nobody can beat them. But in reality, they only have like such a small fraction of my student results. And they just pump their own state. And they think they're God. They call themselves God or something. That's a grandiose person. Overt narcissist. Like I said, these are all brand new concepts. So pay attention, right? Do not forget these. So what's the next one? This one is called the covert narcissist. They're the vulnerable types. These are the quiet, hypersensitive. This sounds exactly like the guy who wrote the smear campaign. Quiet, hypersensitive, feels victimized. It blames me for everything. Craves validation, right? Hit pieces. Emotional validation, pity. Lots of people that I know for students, the ones who are black pilled or MGTOW or something like that, or red pill, they'll blame themselves, they'll blame female nature, but they'll beat themselves up. This is the covert narcissist. That's what they are. These type are the vulnerable covert narcissist. Super triggered. And what's number 6? The worst of all. Who are the types that has shot Charlie Kirk? Who has manipulated with a false accusation? Not to mention write the word fascist on a bullet while he has a trans partner. Not to discriminate or to single out a protected group. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because this is reported on Fox News. This was reported on New York Post, on TMZ, everywhere, that he has a partner like that. And that could be a motivation or motive, allegedly. So basically, that's a malignant narcissist. These are the types that would demonize after Charlie Kirk has been killed and shot in the fucking neck and then bleeding out everywhere. And it shows up everywhere on Facebook and also on YouTube. And people just see gushing blood. Like he goes, and then it's just gushing blood. That type of person. These are the most evil types. And the ones who laughed at his death afterwards is very upsetting. First of all, why are they laughing at his death? These are the malignant narcissists. They're also grandiose. But these are really the nastiest ones. And this may be the first time you've ever heard this term, malignant narcissist. These are evil people. These are like literally from hell. These are like people that are possessed by demons or something like that, even if you may not believe it. These are the Satan spawns, the worst of the worst, the smear campaigners, the attackers. These are vicious people, the most vicious people alive. And that's the thing. These guys, malignant narcissists, are manipulative, aggressive, often cruel, sadistic. So that replaces dark tetrad personality disorder. People are asking me, does dark tetrad still exist? This replaces dark tetrad. That means whatever you learned before, these were the old models of understanding mental illnesses. I'm not diagnosing. I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, but I am speculating based on all these articles. So these are cruel people with sadistic control, dominance, and harm. Oh, these are awful, awful people. Number 7, which is the same thing as the smear campaigner. This type is called a communal narcissist. They seek admiration through good deeds because they pretend that, oh no, I better warn people that Johnny Lee is not a good coach, even though I'm the best in the world for day game. And they want to have this moral superiority, just like the woke. Because they have no morality like Charlie Kirk does, who's a Christian. And believe it or not, most people don't know this about me. I'm also a Christian conservative. I'm a good person. But these evil people create their own woke ideology with virtue signaling through good deeds and moral superiority, altruism, virtue signaling, as it says over here, cerebral narcissist. Okay, the next type. But that's a type. So you have one side like Charlie Kirk and all these other good people. Look what happens. Let's look at the George Floyd situation with Cluster B. Because Cluster B does not exist on the right side, the far right. When Charlie Kirk died, the worst that ever happened was the other people on the far left, the malignant narcissists, they got fired because they start cheering that he died. It's fucking awful. I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was. I saw him once in the episode of South Park. Like, they might contribute to his death by raising the temperature. But it makes me upset that all the guy wants to do is get a microphone and debate people because that guy's rational and logical. And you might say that's narcissistic, right? Because that's communal seeking admiration through good deeds and moral superiority, right? Virtue signal. You might say that Charlie Kirk may have that too. Or achievements or knowledge and mental superiority. Same with Bob Shapiro. But however, it wasn't like he was wrong to say that these things don't make sense. And what happened when I look at my Brave browser, I was looking at all these videos of people that got fired because they were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I was disgusted. I saw a lot of people, I even posted articles in the community section, of people leaving the Democratic Party. You might be thinking, what the hell does this have to do with mental illnesses? The far left are all cluster B personality types. Every single one of them are cluster B. They're evil, evil people. So that's the thing. Okay? But this is about communal narcissist. So, and the last one is the cerebral narcissistic. They value intellect over appearance. They brag about intelligence or achievements and knowledge and mental superiority. It's kind of like the, what's the guy's name? When he starts talking about all these topics. Yes, Jordan Peterson. When they think they know everything. And it doesn't make sense to most people, but it sounds smart and it pumps their state. That's right. When you start talking about it, the far left are like dark tetrad. And they use their sadism and their co-opt the movement to have power and control over other people. So, you like that impression? Of Jordan Peterson. That's right. Do not take benzos. So basically, these are the types of narcissists. And you're like, whoa. So you're saying just by cluster B, narcissistic personality disorder is only one of the 4 categories next to antisocial personality disorder, next to histrionic personality, next to narcissism, next to borderline personality. When I show this to my students, you know what they say? I cannot disagree. I cannot dispute that. That sounds exactly like me. That's what they said to me. They say, John, that sounds exactly like me, all the 4 traits. And what about the cluster C, right? Cluster C involves like running away from homework assignments, avoidant personality. And they're like, shit, that sounds exactly like me. So, 1 second. I want to fix the sofa here. Give it a like. Thank you very much, Damien. It really means a lot. So, if you can like it as much as possible, it'll be very helpful, right? So, but that's the thing. Lots of people have this. This is what makes it hard. When a person is on teachable case, they have cluster B and cluster C, exactly like the person that smear campaigned me. Let's go to the next article. All right. So we went through number 1, number 2, number 3. This one's from a place. Let's just see if they all have something in common. Okay, this one's really hard to read because even if I zoom in, I cannot see the entire article clearly without glasses. So this one is Narcissistic Word Salad. Distinguish the difference between what they say and what they mean. Written by a narcissistic abuse expert and recovery coach, Randy Fine. Narcissistic Abuse Awareness and Guidance with Randy Fine. Is he the guy who invented this term? Was earlier? I cannot remember. All right, let's just read what his article has to say, if it has anything in common. Narcissistic communicates in a way that confuses and frustrates those around them. Their discussions often seem impressive but lack real substance, just like the smear campaign, resembling a chaotic jumble of phrases as word salad, like the smear campaign against me. The article will help you decode the confusing layers of communications commonly used by narcissists so you can better understand what they're really saying. Grasping the peculiar language of a narcissist can be empowering. It empowers you or equips you with the tools needed to respond effectively and protect yourself from subtle manipulation and emotional harm. So what does it say? The nature of narcissistic communication. I'll go faster so we guys can get through it. Narcissists often communicates in convoluted and indirect ways. They may use flattery and contradictions and vague statements and seem profound yet extremely empty. For instance, a statement like, I have a revolutionary thought of teamwork may sound intriguing, but reveals little about their actual views. The intention is to control the conversation and maintain the upper end. Okay, so is this even a good article? Let's talk about the manipulation techniques at play, right? We don't have to go through all the technical stuff earlier on. Okay, number 1, gaslighting. Gaslighting is a common manipulative technique used by narcissists. Remember, this is the first time I'm reading this, and we're all learning together. It supports whatever I was saying all this time. They may distort reality by saying things like, that never happened. Or even when the other person sure did. The tactic breeds doubt and insecurity. It allows the narcissist to maintain control. Number 2, the word again, the fucking word, circular. Circular logic, circular reasoning. That word keeps coming up. Every single article talks about circular reasoning. How is that possible? It's all related. What the hell? Circular logic is frequently used in conversations with the narcissist. For example, when a person asks for a favor, the narcissist may respond, if you understood my struggle, you wouldn't ask me that. This method sidesteps the request entirely and leaves the listener confused, as the argument loops back to the narcissist's perspective with no resolution. So they're basically saying nothing and they're arguing in a circle, even if you ask again. Does that make sense? Recognizing hidden messages. Decoding the message in the narcissist communication is essential. So listen for context. Okay, so this is a very this is like a lot of jargon. Okay, I think this article gave us whatever we needed, the circular reasoning part. Let's go for the next article. All right, that's from Randy Fine. It's a woman, apparently. I thought it was a guy. So, one, two, three. This one's Randy Fine. 5 signs you've been served a narcissistic word salad. Here's the interesting one. I saw this video a long time ago, and I was very shocked. There was a woman who made if you look at YouTube, right? There's word salad is actually a real thing. You might be thinking, well, narcissistic word salad, is it even real or is this bullshit? I'm going to type this in. Narciss. Okay. Narcissist, then word salad. You might be thinking, there's no way this is actually a real thing. Dr. Ramani made one. See, this Indian woman is expert on narcissistic abuse. Another one, Mindset Therapy, made another one. She's a psychologist. But there's one article here that I really, really liked. I cannot remember every word. I'm turning off the fans and be very hot. Let's listen to what this woman has to say. This woman over here in this video had, like, at the time when Indians start using word salads, those 4 stages: false accusations, guilt trips, pain points, and circular reasoning. They kept pressing the button like a nuke. Hopefully the 4 missiles would just boom over and over. And they kept stabbing me in front of the face before they apologized. And I just said, I'm not going to teach anyone from India. But what did they do? Let's quickly hear at double speed what she has to say. Do not just drop off, okay? I know it can get boring, but let's just listen. She might have some really important information that confirms it. Okay? Another ad with a panda in it. How cute. All right, let's go.
Manipulative tactics that a highly narcissistic person can use. Word salad is probably the most infuriating. And if you've ever dealt with it, especially if you've dealt with it on an ongoing basis, I'm going to bet you agree with me. Let me know in the comments. In this video, I'm breaking down the narcissist's word salad. And I'm going to share 5 ways that you can tell that you're being served a healthy serving of word salad instead of having an actual productive conversation. And then I want to talk about why it is that narcissists use this tactic so often that it seems like they were trained in it. Like they went to Narcissist University to learn how to use these manipulative tactics. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and on this channel, we talk a lot about emotional abuse. Sometimes we connect it with spirituality, and we attempt to answer the question, what now? Where do we go from here? So if those topics interest you, go ahead and subscribe and word salad. Now, the origins of this phrase are a little bit different from how we use it when we're talking about emotional abuse. The phrase word salad can be used to refer to a set of symptoms that somebody who has a neurological disorder or a mental disorder may exhibit.
Come on, get to the fucking point.
Symptoms, they're going to put words together that don't really go together.
Come on.
They're not actually going to form sentences. It's just kind of words coming out. And although that description might hit home if you dealt with a narcissist word salad, it's actually quite different. The narcissist word salad is actually a manipulation technique. And although what they're saying doesn't make logical sense, especially in the context of the conversation, they are putting together sentences. So if you took the sentence out of the context of the conversation, you might not find anything wrong with it. It would make sense to you as a thought or a sentence, but it does not make any sense in the context of what you're talking about. So if you think you've dealt with this before, let's explore the 5 signs that you're being served a healthy dose of word salad. Okay. You may relate very strongly to these 5 things. Okay, so number 1, the arguments are going to feel circular because
our circular argument. Once again, the fucking word circular keeps coming along. Isn't that weird? The narcissistic sociopathic word salad, every single one of them is circular. That makes you defend yourself. How could that be? Every single article, every single person giving advice, always circular reasoning.
What you're doing is you're bringing up a topic of discussion, or you're asking a question to somebody who is purposely not addressing what you brought up, or not answering your question. So you're going to try to bring that.
That's the same smear campaign. It's all circular reasoning designed to make me get angry and try to respond to it, and they laugh.
Bring the conversation back full circle, back to where it began, so you might actually get an answer that makes sense to you. You're going for an outcome that you're not getting, so it just keeps going and going and going. The second sign that you are dealing with word salad is that the person's answers defy logic. Again, like I said, they might make sense when you pull them out of the context of the conversation, but they don't make sense in the conversation. So let's look at it quick and
yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Whatever they're saying, the words that they're using is just so disorganized, but it creates moral outrage because it's a smear campaign.
Silly example. Let's say you are at work and you walk into the break room and you see your coworker Mary with your lunch, the remains of your sandwich, sitting in front of her. And so you're a little annoyed, understandably so. And you say, hey, Mary, did you eat my lunch? And she's like, it's funny that you brought up lunch because I was just having a conversation with Jim about pineapples on pizza. And I like pineapples on pizza. And I know that you shared a meme the other day that said that people who like pineapples on pizza might be psychopaths. And I felt personally attacked by that. And I really think you owe me an apology. You were wondering about your sandwich and Mary's talking about pineapples on pizza. And how is any of this logical? It doesn't make any sense. So the third sign that you're dealing with word salad is that this conversation, it started as a conversation, but by the time it's over, it ends up feeling like a competition. It ends up feeling kind of like you're sparring with this person. Yeah,
it feels like you're rolling in a mud with a pig, and they love it. The more they roll around, right? And they cannot wait for you to defend yourself, because they'll start to act like, oh, let me decide. This is what they'll think. Let me decide what's right and wrong, John. You can try to defend yourself. Please present your points. I will decide if it's right or wrong. It's like, fuck you. You're a sociopath, right? Narcissistic sociopath. What do you know about right and wrong?
Continually trying to knock you off your game. They're continually trying to derail the conversation for their own benefit. But you also get the sense that they're kind of enjoying it, and
they do enjoy
the competitive side. Because not only is it frustrating that they're not answering a question or addressing the topics that you brought up, but they're also enjoying this nonsense that they're spewing out. They're enjoying that they're frustrating you. And that, I think, is an unintentional trap that many of us get stuck in when we're served up with this word salad. Because as much as you know that this conversation is going nowhere, you feel compelled to bring it back to where it started. And you feel compelled to get this person to admit what they're doing and to address what you wanted them to address in the first place. So you get the feeling that there's a smugness about them as they're doing this. And that could definitely bring out someone's competitive nature. And in that case, this circular argument can just run in circles forever and ever. So
that's fucking circular argument. Because no matter what you say, they're just going to dismiss it. Oh, that's wrong or whatever, and just keep attacking. And they'll do it again. Even though you win the argument, you can't win against these people. So you better tell them, listen, I'm not going to play your game. I know exactly what you're doing. You want to argue in a circle. But I don't have time for this. Just block them. But they love it when you defend yourself. I defended myself before in the first month without posting the receipts because it was so difficult to make that video. I fucked myself over by doing that. So you guys can learn from my mistake when you're dealing with a narcissistic sociopath, because the narcissistic word salad is the exact structure of their Reddit hit piece. Because sometimes you might be thinking, well, John made a video debunking them phrase by phrase, but what if they're telling like a half truth? But now you realize they are not speaking half truths. They are damaged people. They're so fucking damaged. Cluster B personality, malignant narcissist, antisocial personality disorder, sociopath, that they cannot help but do this. They all use word salads. All the sociopaths I've ever dealt with all use these circular reasoning.
You're dealing with word salad is that this conversation has become immensely repetitive. You find yourself saying the same thing over and over and over again. And the person that you're talking to might even point that out. They might even say, well, why do you keep repeating yourself? We're going nowhere with this, which is true. But the reason you keep repeating yourself is because you're not getting an answer. You might think you're dealing with somebody who's logical and just, for whatever reason, in the moment, acting illogically, and you can get them to see that. You might think that you can't get them to see that, but you might think that you can get them to see that. And so you keep repeating yourself. And, maybe you think that you're communicating well, but because they're not getting it, you try to think of other ways to say the same thing.
Yeah, if you try to convince them, this is what they want. They're like, okay, John, I'm the judge, jury, and executioner. Go ahead. Try to convince me. And they just laugh. They just keep laughing. They're evil fucking people. These are damaged goods. These are the most evil fucking people in the world. The whole circular reasoning is just like Sydney Sweeney when she just says she has good genes and they try and make it eugenics. Oh, she's talking about that white race is the most powerful race. That's what Sydney Sweeney is trying to say. The far left woke ugly women that try to say, oh, this is what a real woman looks like compared to her. And reality, it's like these are very hateful and nasty people trying to cancel you. They love the circular reasoning. These are fucking demons.
End up just repeating over and over and over until you're tired of hearing what you're saying, but you still don't get an answer. And the fifth sign that you are dealing with word salad is that you walk away just scratching your head, like in the example I gave. Somebody clearly ate your lunch, and then there they are talking about pineapples on pizza and asking you for an apology. You have no idea what just happened here. The example I gave was a very trivial thing, and it was very, not personal. But these conversations can get very personal, and especially if you're dealing with a narcissist who knows exactly how to trigger you, it's easy for them to do so.
Ambition is on the inside.
Oh, another fucking ad. Let me just turn this. Oh, I hate all these fucking ads on here. Just too many ads. And this is a long ad too, actually. What, we're gonna have a second ad? I cannot skip it? Oh, I have no choice. Okay, let's play it.
A topic that will take you down the rabbit hole. It's a trap, and because you're so emotionally tied to it, you might fall for it. And if you do, there's a good chance you won't even realize what they've done until you walk away and you're replaying the conversation in your mind. But no matter what, these conversations leave you wondering how anyone could operate this way. So why do narcissists use this word salad technique so often that it seems...
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a fucking shit test, right? From Day Game. You know how women, they give you a shit test and then they get you kind of angry and then they give you like a false accusation. I'm not saying women are narcissists. I'm just saying it sounds like a shit test. If you defend yourself against a shit test, my students don't get shit tests because their body language is perfect and also their calibrations are perfect. So they never get a shit test. Even before they pull, they never get a shit test because they're congruent. But however, it sounds like a fucking PUA shit test, doesn't it? When the woman says something like, oh, do you always talk to girls like that all the time? Is that your best pickup line? And then you have to defend yourself and then you'll lose. Then she'll walk away. If you attack her back, she'll walk away. So there's only one way to sidestep this and not deal with the shit test. and kind of like make it into a silly sort of thing, right? Do you think that does that actually work on people like me, right? And then you just sidestep it and just continue forward. But it's exactly like a shit test. When a narcissist did that to me with a smear campaign, it is basically a shit test kind of format of false accusations, circular reasoning, pain points, and guilt trips. Really nasty, nasty people. The worst sociopaths I've ever seen in my life all use this pattern.
They're trained in it. Like they went to Narcissist University to learn how to manipulate people in conversations. They all use it in the same way, and they all use it. So the first reason that they use word salad is to generate confusion and to knock you off your game. So they're going to lay out a trail of breadcrumbs for you to follow to get you away from your initial conversation, your initial topic or question. And they're just going to try and lead you away from that. And as you can imagine, that's very convenient for them if it works. The second reason narcissists use this infuriating technique is to initiate an argument, put you in the defensive mode. So when you're defending yourself, it's going to be difficult for you to take that.
Yeah, exactly. Defending yourself like a shit test. I defended myself. Do you remember the first month? I made a bunch of videos saying Latinos are bad students, and I made other students, in the video actually defend me, and they defended me, and then people got turned off, and everyone thinks John's the enemy, but in reality, John's been always the saint, always the Christian, always the good person. The other person is the Judas, the devil, the Satan, but they try to make it the other way around. It's amazing.
Offensive position. So you're going to be busy coming up with reasons that what they're saying about you.
Don't defend yourself.
Whatever it is that they're throwing your way, you're going to get a lot of punch.
I fucked myself over by defending myself. I have literally turned off a lot of people. So this is a big lesson to all of you, because you may deal with another person like this. You may have an Indian coworker who's got a narcissistic word salad, and all of them, they have a Pennywise eyes, or they have a very intense death stare. The ones who does all the word salad, they look like a sociopath.
So you're not effectively going to be able to keep this conversation on track. And the third reason why narcissists use this word salad technique is to get the person to lose their composure. So this technique, we know it's so incredibly infuriating that you're likely to act out in anger. And when you do, you look like the problem.
Yeah.
And that also benefits the narcissist, because it's hard to recover from that. You can't bring the conversation back after that, and you look like the one who's wrong. Okay, so how do you handle this word salad?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually on the Reddit trying to debunk that, and I was so fucking stupid. I fell for it. So whatever I'm teaching you could save your reputation. They cannot damage mine, because the truth will set me free. I have 669 laid and poll testimonials. If they want to say, only a few students get laid and only a few accounts for all of them, then why don't I actually post every fucking video testimonial in the community section and shut the fuck up, that hater? I would do that. We're starting tomorrow. Maybe I have to post 3 a day, because by the end of the year, right, we're going to have the whole fucking community section all full of lay testimonial with screenshots.
That I have a lot of experience with this, and it's definitely more than I'd like to admit. And although this is a technique that you will very, very likely encounter if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, or if you have a narcissist parent or sibling or coworker, somebody who's close to you that you deal with on a regular basis, you may encounter word salad with somebody you know casually. And so if you encounter word salad with somebody you know casually, run. Don't walk, run. Get as far away from that person as you can, because it's not because they're not answering your question. It's because they're using a manipulation tactic to get out of answering your question. So
I would just block them, right? Besides running, just block them. Because I have found that when I was getting let's say, do you remember like way back then when I started in 2016 online? I started teaching day game in 2012. You're like, what the fuck? I was teaching immersion, a whole group of PUAs. I was stealing them from another dating coach called Jan Lifestyle. So I have a lot of teaching experience, more than most coaches. I used to teach direct game, believe it or not. It doesn't even work now, but in the beginning, I was testing which system works. Eventually, this is the system that is the only thing that works. The one I'm teaching, Aero Science.
Up front with you, and they are trying to manipulate you. This is not a good sign. Does it mean the person is a narcissist and has NPD? No, that's not how NPD is diagnosed. But it's definitely not a good sign. It is definitely a sign that this person is manipulative, and that is not somebody who you want in your life. Now, in any other situation where you can actually run, the best thing you can do is to avoid falling into the traps. So the first thing,
yeah, the fucking traps are the worst,
is to recognize what's going on. Maybe you ask a question and somebody says something that seems illogical. And if you've never dealt with word salad with this person before, you might give them the benefit of the doubt. You might ask again. But if you can identify that this is what's going on, that this is a crazy making behavior and it's not a normal conversation, it might be time to cut your losses. And I know that when you're in the moment, like I said, it can bring out like a competition or competitive nature. This person is going to answer me. But
basically what I was trying to say for my point was that every single 100 lay testimonials, right? You know what happened? The very first year, in 2016, right? I start posting like, around that time, I had close to like maybe 10 or 12 late testimonials. It wasn't a lot. Then I start having fucking haters show up with word salads. They'll come on YouTube or Facebook and they'll fucking keep giving false accusations. these dark tetrad types, these cluster B, which we didn't know the term cluster B, they'll keep accusing you over and over how you're evil and everything. And they just make it up. And they say, okay, John, now defend yourself. I'm the judge, jury, and executioner of the truth, right? You block them. And guess what? After a few months, they forget about you. They go look for another target to fight with. These people are sick in the head. They want you to defend yourself. They're sick people. They're so sick. They're almost like the Charlie Kirk type of people that criticize him after he got shot in the fucking neck. First of all, I never seen Charlie Kirk videos. Maybe I'll start now. But if that guy was out there debating people over with a fucking microphone, why shoot him in the fucking neck? It's like saying that you can't win this argument with their smear campaign, so you gotta have a fucking bullet that actually says like fascist or something like that, and they shoot him in the fucking neck. That's ridiculous. That's awful. These type of people, malignant narcissist, type B cluster, evil, sociopath. But yeah, never defend yourself. I'm just telling you how important this is. I fucked myself over by defending myself, even on the Reddit thread. I made myself look so bad because I didn't have the fucking screenshots at the time because I was too lazy to do it because I had to make it perfect before I posted. That's why it took 2 months to post it. It had to be perfect. Every word had to be highlighted. I couldn't fucking do it.
But I've been down that road so many times before. And there have been times when I've won, but I didn't really win, and it was always, anytime that I thought that I won, it was over something super trivial, and we probably had spent an hour going around in circles, running around in circles, and me trying to pin this person down to an answer. And really what it comes down to is my time and my happiness is worth a whole lot more than that. But most of the time, whenever I encountered this word salad technique, it didn't end with any sort of resolution. There was no closure on this conversation. It just went around in circles. And in the end, I ended up feeling worse than I did in the beginning. So really the best thing that you can do is to cut your losses. Once it starts going down that road.
It's like shit test. Don't fucking bother with these people. These are dangerous people. I mean, these guys could word salad fucking Sydney Sweeney and try to cancel her because she says good genes for eugenics. They can try to cancel Donald Trump, and they shot him in the fucking ear when they call him a Nazi. These people are Nazis or whatever. Like, it's not even true. They're the evil ones, the far left. Have you noticed this? And this is not to generalize a protected group, but when Charlie Kirk, when he got shot, what did the Christians do? They pray for the other people. They don't attack. And other people got pissed off. They posted like their work, right? They send screenshots and they get fired and canceled. I'm not saying that the far right did it, but other people. The far left, right? A lot of people are quitting because they're looking at these demons, laughing at somebody getting shot in the neck because he wanted to have a conversation, because he wanted to have a debate. So what I'm talking about in this topic is very profound because this is human behavior of evil. He just wanted to talk to people and try to beat them at their own points. But because the far left is virtue signaling with their communal narcissism, trying to virtue signal to be right, to be woke, they don't know what they're talking about. But instead, they're irrational, they're delusional, and they get other people killed over and over. And they're going to probably try to do it again. The far left. When George Floyd got killed, guess what happened? For the cluster B, they start looting everywhere. I'm not saying a specific group or anything. They start fucking looting everything and shooting people and shit like that. On the far right, what happens? They're Christian conservatives who basically have empathy and they pray for each other. Where's the fucking violence on the far right? There's none. There's turning the other cheek and they're constantly getting shot at by the crazy far left who do not have remorse and guilt. These people that love to use the word salad. And this is how they make their circular reasoning. You see this in the news. This topic is also about current events.
Once you've entered this zone, it does become kind of like a battleground, but it's also a lost cause because there is no winning. A narcissist might think that they're winning, but I mean, they're really not. If you understand the word salad technique, you've had these conversations and you've known that they've gone off track. They didn't trick you. So really, no one wins in this word salad thing. It's just best to avoid the frustration and walk away.
Okay, that's good enough for the article, but that's a good article. A video article. Let me turn on the fan again. But for what she's saying, that the narcissistic word salad, you can't win. It's a shit test. They will keep doing that over and over. But Sydney Sweeney did not defend herself. But the problem is that you're trying to cancel her. And they found out that she's actually a Republican. They actually went into her records to find out. These are very sick people. These are super woke sick people. They're very, very sick people. So as I was saying about this article, okay? The worst type, the demons, are the malignant narcissist, or the guys with word narcissist, like sociopathic narcissistic word salads or smear campaigns, which follows this structure. And this is Reddit in a nutshell, basically. These types, they all have it. And the entire Reddit is like this. In the whole seduction forum, all these people have cluster B. I don't have the energy to defend myself against these stupid false accusations again. I fucked up when I did. So, for example, let's go to the next article. This one's very convoluted. Okay. So this is article number Embrace Inner Chaos, Narcissistic Word Salad Guide. Let's see what this one has to say, if there's any similarities. All right. Hopefully I can zoom this in. We value your privacy, whatever. I can't even click on this fucking thing. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Okay, probably cookies or something. I don't want fucking cookies here. All right. Very small words. Okay, Narcissistic Word Salad, a comprehensive guide. By Embrace Your Inner Chaos by... Okay, narcissistic word salad is a manipulative tactic used to confuse, control, and dominate conversations, causing emotional distress and self-doubt in relationships. Okay, have you ever had a talk that left you confused and felt like words were mixed up and made no sense, like the smear campaign? This is often called a narcissistic sociopath word salad. It's a way of talking that's messy, puzzling, and meant to mess up conversations. It's not by accident. It is done on purpose. In relationships, this can feel like sinking emotional quicksand. You might forget things, doubt your feelings, or question what's real. Over time, it can make you feel worried, stressed, and unsure about yourself. Learning this behavior helps you protect your emotions. So key takeaways. Narcissistic sociopath word salad is a tricky way of talking to control others. Spotting signs like contradictions, right, which they always have, especially in the last video, or random details can protect your feelings. Narcissists use word salad to dodge blame, yeah, exactly, that they're worst student of the year, and avoid taking responsibility as being the worst student of the year. Writing down talks can make confusing chats clear and show manipulation. Setting rules and steering talks facts helps you feel stronger in control. Your feelings matter. Don't let narcissists ignore them. Trust yourself and get help if needed. Taking breaks during the tough talks and you can clear them. This is a person, maybe not the English is not the first language. So what's a narcissistic word salad? Disorganized and nonsensical communication. Narcissistic word salad is a messy and confusing way of talking. Narcissists use it to control conversations. They might jump between topics without any clear connections. This type of talking feels like a puzzle piece missing. Instead of making sense, it leaves you feeling upset and puzzled. Narcissists do this to make you doubt your thoughts and feelings. They mix up ideas and add random details and say things that don't match. This is not by mistake. It's done with the purpose to take control. Main traits of a narcissist word salads are talking in circles. Oh, here's the talking in circles part. The word circles keeps showing up every single time. Circular reasoning, circular this, circular that, always circular, which is such a coincidence because it's so true. All right. So saying things that makes you question your memory, adding too much useless information to the talk. They do that. Their whole thing is a word salad. Nobody understands why they're angry except that it's designed to make me look like a killer by saying, oh no, death by supplements, when the student did not die of a stroke, which alpha GPC can give you after 10 years. Instead, he died from a blood clot in the lung. This is completely different. This way of talking causes stress and it keeps you unsure. It makes you reply or think clearly. It's hard to reply or think clearly. Telling apart manipulation from reality and mental issues. Okay, so this one's not necessary. So plan confusion and control. Normal talks aims to share ideas and understand each other. Narcissist word salad, however, is meant to confuse and control. You might feel stuck in an endless argument or overwhelmed by random details, just like the smear campaign. This isn't a mistake, it's a plan to take power in their smear campaign. For instance, if you ask a narcissist a clear question, they might answer with unrelated stories or mixed up ideas. This keeps you guessing and stops you from solving the real issue. Finding the purpose in the seemingly random words. At first, narcissist word salad may sound like random talking, like the smear campaign. But if you look closely, you'll see the purpose behind it. Narcissists use this style to avoid blame, right? Because they're the worst student of the year. They dodge responsibility and stay in control. From my works with my clients, this is what the guy said. I've seen how this tactic breaks trust and causes confusion. By twisting reality, narcissists make you doubt yourself and your ability to talk clearly. Spotting these tricks helps you protect yourself from their control. So the psychological mechanics behind narcissistic word salads, traits of narcissists that drive the word salad. The need for control and power. Narcissists love being in charge. They use narcissistic word salad to take over talks and show that they're in control, like the smear campaign. By mixing up their words, they distract you from the real topic, which is about them not doing their fucking homework assignments. And you defend yourself, and then people don't believe you because they're cluster B. Picture asking a narcissist a simple question instead of answering. They might just tell unrelated stories or say things that don't match. This isn't just annoying, it's their way of staying in charge. When you're confused, they're already taking control. The lack of empathy and accountability. Exactly. They never mention all the faults because they don't feel guilt. It's like almost like they have some kind of alexithymia, a lack of emotions. They cannot recognize emotions in others either. But for them, a lack of empathy and accountability. Caring about others is a key to good talks, but narcissists don't care. It is true. The word salad, even though it's wrong, they'll still present it over and over. They don't try to see your side. They only care about looking good because they're wearing mask of sanity, like a narcissistic sociopath mask. Narcissistic word salad helps them avoid blame by making things unclear. So, I mean, they're bad students, but they'll just dodge all responsibilities. For example, if you point out their mistakes, right, which I did, they might just talk in circles and bring up random stuff, and they'll shift the blame to you, making you doubt yourself. They avoid taking blame because they fear looking weak. So unravel the power dynamics and verbal manipulation. How language controls creates dominance hierarchies. Words are powerful, and narcissists know how to use them. By controlling talks, they show that they're in charge. I'll go a little bit faster. This happens in personal and work relationships. Narcissists use fancy words to confuse and avoid blame. They brag about their skills to seem like strong leaders. Their actions can cause fights and mess up team balance. Okay, this is not really related. This is just getting technical for no reason. Creating confusion. Contradictory statements and circular logic. Okay, this is something we can use. Have you ever felt stuck in a talk that goes nowhere? This is the key narcissistic sociopathic word salad. Narcissistic sociopaths often say things that don't match and go in circles, exactly like the smear campaigns. For example, they might agree with you, then deny it right after. They can make you doubt what you remember or understand. This isn't by chance. It's done to confuse you and to hide the real problem. Studies show that narcissists use tricks like jumping between topics and repeating points without solving anything. Sounds like their fucking hit piece, which makes no sense. They keep you trapped and unable to move forward and hold them responsible. Yeah, you can't even fight back because they won't respond to you, and they'll just keep trying to smear campaign you. Overload it with irrelevant details, right? That's what they do. The trick is to give them too much useless information. That's why they keep saying words like, oh, it's like a churn or whatever. And they keep saying all these other things. John can only teach like 10 minutes a day for students. They cannot teach everybody. So there's all a lot. It's like, this doesn't even make any fucking sense, what they're saying. I don't even know how to defend against it, so I'm not going to. Narcissists might fill talks with random details, making it hard to follow. This sounds like them. For instance, if you ask for something simple, they might answer with a long, unrelated story. This does two things. First, it distracts you from the real issue. Second, it tires you out, making it harder to challenge them. Research on narcissistic speech shows this is a planned way to confuse and control talks. These sounds like really fucking nasty people, doesn't it? Really sounds nasty. So, okay. Shifting, blaming, and deflection techniques. Accusations and projection patterns. Narcissists are great at blaming others. Instead of owning up to their actions, they accuse you of doing the same thing. It's called projection. It's like, oh no, John's mentally unstable. He's a whatever. No, you're mentally unstable. So, for example, if you call them out for lying, they might say, oh, you're the one who's dishonest. This shifts attention away from their mistakes and make you feel bad. Studies on manipulative language shows how narcissists use blame to create confusion. By making you feel guilty, they stay in control of the talk. So playing the victim in the reverse dynamic. Oh yeah, they try to make themselves the victim and I'm the perpetrator. Oh no, because John's the mean person, right? He's the mean one. He's the mean coach. He's the bad one, right? No, you're the bad one. You're the fucking crazy one. You try to shift the blame to me, which is ridiculous. Okay? Let me repost this so that way people show up. I hope this is not too boring. I know this article is a little bit technical, and it feels like we're saying some similar shit as before. But I hope that you're still learning something. All right. I'm just reposting this article. So that way more people show up. If you have any questions, right? Please ask. Because I still have like a lot to say. This topic is a very interesting topic. And for me, even though I know about this stuff, this is really the first time I'm reading these articles. I never read these articles before I started. Let's continue. Playing the victim. Narcissists often act like they're a victim to control your feelings. They might twist things, make it seem like you're being mean. For example, if you confront them, they might say, I can't believe you treat me this way. I thought you cared. This shifts the focus from their action that you're supposedly bad behavior. So these people are fucking nasty, man. It's a way to make you feel guilty and you take the blame. Real life examples show how narcissists use emotional drama to get sympathy to avoid responsibility. It sounds like the Democratic far left. They always blame the other side for turning up the temperature, even though they're doing all the fucking temperature turning. So basically, dismissing feelings to control you. Oh, I think we have enough of this article. Okay? It's a very confusing article. Let's go to the next article. We got all the juice we can get out of this one. Squeezing the juice. This one's called Embrace Inner Chaos. Narcissistic word salad here is another one. Okay? This one's from Infallible Living, Narcissistic Word Salads. Okay, so let me try to zoom in. What's a narcissistic word salad? I'll go fast. Narcissistic word salad is a term used to describe the confusing and nonsensical language of communication style of a narcissist. Narcissists often... Oh, fucking ad popped up. Narcissists often use this type of communications to avoid taking responsibility for their actions or to manipulate and control others, okay? Sounds similar. They might use complex and convoluted sentences, just like in a hit piece, right? And throw in irrelevant information, which he did. Change the topic frequently and use ambiguous words and phrases to create confusion. For the narcissistic word salad, false accusation on Reddit. This can make it difficult to have a clear and meaningful conversation with them. And here's some examples, right? We can just skip that part. What triggers the narcissistic word salad? The narcissistic word salad is triggered by a number of factors, including the need to feel for attention and validation, a sense of entitlement and superiority, a deep-seated fear of vulnerability and shame, and inability to empathize with others. Narcissistic word salad strategies. Number one, absolute lack of logic. Everything they say made no sense to me. The narcissist sociopath will use the long and complex sentences that sounds impressive, which they did, but do not make any sense when examined closely. Number two, tangents. The person will go off in tangents that seem irrelevant to the conversation, making it hard to follow and pin down the point. Exactly how they write. They could not be more like proving this article true if they tried. Literally everything is identical. Number 3, circular conversations. The narcissistic word salad often use circular reasoning, where the narcissist will repeat key phrases and ideas without adding any new information. They repeat the same points in different ways without ever addressing the original question or concern. Yeah, they just dismiss things. Sometimes they will even use irrelevant information to distract from the topic at hand. Number 4, contradictions. They'll say one thing and claim the opposite is true in the next sentence. Name dropping. They'll use impressive sounding terms and references to give the impression of expertise or knowledge, but without actually saying anything meaningful. Number 6, focusing on your past mistakes while disregarding theirs. Oh, that's a big one. Narcissists are known to having inflated sense of their own abilities and achievements. They'll say stuff like, oh yeah, in their job they accomplished this and that. They tend to be very critical of others when dismissing or minimizing their own faults. Number 7, patronizing and condescending tone. When a narcissist use patronizing and condescending tone, they often use language that is intended to make the other person feel inferior or submissive. This can be accomplished through a variety of different tactics, including speaking in a slow or exaggerated manner, using oversimplistic language, or belittling other person's ideas and opinions. For example, when they're belittling my system, saying, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, how would they know? They actually never started my system except for Elite Access. I told them not to go through the courses yet, start with Elite Access. How could they give a review? And also, the next thing is that, for example, a narcissist might say things like, oh, that's cute, but you clearly don't understand the bigger picture. Or, I'm impressed that you're trying, but let me explain to you in a way that you can understand. In those interactions, the narcissist is attempting to establish their superiority over the other person and reinforce their own sense of self-importance. Another ad. Okay. 8, overgeneralizations. Overgeneralization, including making sweeping statements that apply to a wide range of situations and people. For example, narcissists may say things like, everyone knows that. No one ever would do that. All these statements are not true or accurate. Or when they say, oh, anybody can tell you I don't sound depressed in my voice, even though they do. And the other Latinos cannot hear it because they also have alexithymia. Not to generalize all Latinos, but just the pickup artists. They might also make a categorical statement about you or your behavior, such as you always do that, or you never do this. This can be confusing and disoriented, and you might not be able to remember every instances or situations to prove them wrong. Overgeneralization, can also, hold on a second. Just turn this on. All right. All right. Let's continue. So this can be confusing and disoriented. You might not be able to remember every instance of the situation and prove them wrong. Overgeneralization can also be used to shut down discussions or debate. Everything's overgeneralized. Oh yeah, John bans everyone like that. Who's not a good student, and then they get kicked out or something like that. It's all bullshit. Only one person got kicked out a year. It's hard to get kicked out. You have to be really fucked up. By making a statement that seems universally true, the narcissist can make it seem like any argument against their perspective is invalid. This can be a way to exert control and dominance in the conversation. Number 9, projection. Projection is where narcissists project their own negative qualities and feelings or belief onto others. For example, if the narcissist is a compulsive liar, which is true, they may accuse others of being dishonest and having a lack of integrity. Shifting the blame is where the narcissist puts the responsibility or fault onto someone else in order to avoid accountability, especially when they're a bad student with cluster C personality traits along with cluster B. Not only are they narcissistic, sociopathic, but they're also running away from homework assignments, and they blame the coach when they quit, saying that they did not get laid, but they quit. They don't tell people these. For example, if narcissists fail to meet a deadline at work, they may blame their coworkers, right? Or they fail to meet a deadline for my course. Oh, I have to show up every single day. I have to check in every day, as they say. Even the company's policies for their failure. You see that? They never take responsibility. In conversations, a narcissist may use both projection and shifting the blame to confuse and control the other person. They may accuse the other person of doing something wrong or being at fault for a situation while simultaneously avoiding taking any responsibility for their own actions or mistakes. This is a good article. I like this one. This can leave the other person feeling guilty or responsible, even though they have done nothing wrong. Number 10, gaslighting. Gaslighting is a manipulative tactic that a narcissist may use to confuse and control their victims. It is a form of psychological abuse that involves questioning the victim's reality, memory, or perception or events. Yeah, they're basically rewriting the whole history of their coaching. In reality, they're just a bad student. They just don't want to take responsibility because they have a massive fucking ego, because they're narcissistic to the max. They're super narcissist. They're malignant narcissist. So basically, for example, if the victim confronts the narcissist about a hurtful comment that they made, the narcissist will deny even saying it, even though the victim remembers it clearly. They may also make the victim doubt themselves by saying, "Oh, that's not what I meant," or you're remembering it wrong. The constant denial and confusion can make the victim feel like they're going crazy or losing touch with reality. Furthermore, the narcissist may use gaslighting to make the victim feel like they're too sensitive and overreacting. For instance, if the victim expresses hurt feelings or something, the narcissist would dismiss their feelings as being irrational or hypersensitive. Just like they dismissed every screenshot. Oh, John always posts screenshots of me and I dismissed them all, right? Because they're all wrong. I didn't look at them. He's trying to make me feel guilty about myself. No, it's because someone's trying to describe what you're fucking doing wrong, and they're dismissing it because they're a cluster B narcissistic sociopath who has to win at all costs because they have a massive fucking ego. So basically, this can make the victim feel invalidated, ashamed, or guilty for feeling the way that they do. Number 11, narcissistic rage. Oh, narcissistic rage is a common trait that individuals with narcissistic personality disorder. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, something just popped up. Okay. Narcissistic rage is a common trait in individuals with narcissistic personality disorder. It refers to an intense emotional response that a narcissist may have when their senses of self-worth or superiority is challenged or threatened. In a conversation, a narcissist may use this tactic to confuse and intimidate you. Number 12, playing the victim. That's exactly what they did. They pretended to be the victim when I'm the victim and they're the perpetrators. Playing the victim is often a tactic used by the narcissist to manipulate and control the conversation. They may use their victimhood to garner sympathy on Reddit and to gain leverage in a conversation. For example, if you're being up an issue with a narcissist behavior, they may turn the conversation around and make it about how they are the victim. In reality, I was the victim. They completely told me that if I don't give them back some money, they're going to attack my PayPal or something like that. This is fucking crazy. I mean, what the fuck? They're extorting me. That's extortion. That's illegal. And they try to make themselves the victim. They're the ones who quit. It's like, just because you have type C personality and type B doesn't entitle you to quit and expect money back. These kind of people, imagine all these bad students from Reddit, these narcissistic sociopaths, they can join any coaching and then they could say, oh, they didn't get laid, so they attacked the coach. I've seen that happen all the time. But in reality, I have my students defending me in the post, believe it or not. So, for example, if you bring up an issue with narcissistic behavior, they may turn the conversation around and make it about how they're the victims. I think when they see my students defending me and they get like crazy results, like one guy, he got married and he also like has a stripper girlfriend. I saw a post like that. That's pretty impressive. And he got laid like this year, recently. He didn't get laid in 14 days when the other guy quit. It took him like fucking almost 3 weeks. It was hard. It was very, very hard. He had to work and to make it happen, to follow all the strategies. It wasn't easy at all. So they might say things like, I can't believe you would think that I would do something like that. You're attacking me for no reason. It's like, what? By playing the victim, they seek to deflect criticism and to shift the focus away from their own behavior. So how to deal with a circular conversation? Dealing with a circular conversation with a narcissist can be challenging, but there are a few strategies you can use to break the cycle. Number 1, stay focused on the topic at hand. Narcissists often try to derail conversations by changing the subject and bring up irrelevant details. To avoid this, stay focused on specific topics or issues you're trying to address. Number 2, avoid engaging in arguments. Narcissists thrive on the conflict and confrontation. Arguing with them will only feel their sense of power and control. And I was stupid enough to argue with them and they didn't even respond and just kept laughing. Number 3, your emotions are in check. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions, and they try to remain calm and composed during the conversation. This will help prevent the narcissist from escalating the situation. Number 4, don't try to reason with them. Narcissistic sociopaths often have an inflated sense of self-importance, and are convinced that they're always right. Trying to reason with them or explain your point will likely fail or fall on deaf ears. Even when I show them screenshots, I'll be like, "Oh, John's like showing screenshots where he's trying to like gaslight me, how I'm trying to admit I'm wrong, and other people are using against me." No, they're trying to tell you on the phone that you don't have emotions, you cannot hear your own mistakes, you are a person that seems to have alexithymia, and you sound very depressed, and you don't even know it yet. Try and reason with them or explain your point of view will likely fall on deaf ears. Number 5, set boundaries. Clearly establish what you will and will not tolerate in the conversation. For example, if the narcissist starts belittling you and attacking your character, which you've done with me, calmly but firmly state that you won't continue this conversation if they continue to behave that way. That's what I do. I tell them before, like, I'm just going to block this conversation. We can spend all day just arguing. That's what I say. Use I statements. Frame the communications in terms of your own thoughts and feelings rather than putting the blame on the narcissist. This can help them feel less defensive and more open to finding a solution. That's not true. Narcissistic sociopaths will not find a solution. They are just as angry as the people that call Charlie Kirk a fascist. These people are sick in the head. These are sick, demonic people. And they'll laugh at him when he dies with a bullet right in his neck. These people are sick to the core. So also, don't take their attack personally. Narcissists often resort to attack when they feel threatened or challenged. It's important to not take these attacks personally. Instead, focus on the issue at hand. Number 8, consider ending the conversation. Great idea. I should have done that long ago. I was stupid enough to fucking fight back. If you find yourself caught in a circular conversation, which happened to me, it isn't productive or it's causing you distress, it may be best to end the conversation and try again later or not at all. Remember that it's okay to disengage from conversations that are harmful or unproductive. So in conclusion, okay, this is a decent article. I like this one a lot. Narcissistic word salad can feel like a never-ending barrage of words and phrases that are difficult to follow or understand. It may seem like the person is talking in circles or going off in tangents that are nothing to do with the conversation at hand. Give it a thumbs up. The language used may be grandiose or exaggerated, which is true. There may be a lack of coherence or logical flow to the dialogue, which is true in the hit piece. It makes no sense. It can leave the listeners feeling confused, frustrated, and uncertain about what the narcissist is trying to communicate. So, okay, this is by Hadia. Hadia is a counselor who's passionate about supporting individuals in their healing journey. Hadia, this is who wrote the article, not only writes insightful posts on various mental health topics, but also creates practical mental health worksheets to help both individuals and professionals. Excellent. All right. So let's talk about that. Political labeling, okay? Medical science smear. Like when you saw Alpha GPC, when the guy tried to say that, that I killed another student because I recommend or prescribed. I didn't prescribe shit. I'm not a doctor. I cannot prescribe. Alpha GPC is not a prescription drug. You can buy it over the counter or on Amazon. It's a ridiculous statement of a false accusation, guilt trip, and pain points as he tries to accuse me of killing a student. Alpha GPC in 10 years when you're older can cause a stroke. But the Australian student passed away. He didn't die of a stroke, but by a blood clot in the lung. That's different. The stroke is in the head. This is in the lung. This is a different place. So this is pure defamation. He tried to make it fit, and people get turned off. But once again, that's hypocritical because he never took the supplements before, and he's a vegetarian and made a film on IMDb called Meatless Barbecue. Does that make sense? Let's read the next article, shall we? So this one's called Narcissistic. Okay, Infallible Living. What is the next article? Okay, this one's called Carla Corelli. Who is this person? Like I said, about Carla. This is a personal blog. This is just from a person that just wrote a blog, right? But let's just hear her out. If it gets boring, we'll just skip it, okay? So, narcissistic word salad. I'll go fast. Narcissists are masters of the dark arts of the word salad, using manipulative language tactics to confuse, control, to dominate others during conversation. The communication strategy serves as a tool for them to maintain power and evade accountability. Some of the tactics include verbal manipulation, is a potent weapon that employs to exert control and power over the conversation. With remarkable skill, they twist their words, change the subject, utilize gaslighting techniques to induce doubt in others, in their own perception or sanity, which has happened in the fucking Reddit smear campaign. It sounds identical. One primary aspect of verbal manipulation is the intention disorientation of meaning. Narcissists possess a knack for distorting the intended message behind statements, subtly altering the context to serve their own agenda. So, by manipulating the interpretation of words, they create confusion and cast doubt on the validity viewpoints of concerns. Okay, circular conversation. Once again, we have that fucking word again. Circular circular conversation. Thank you for like. Once again, the circular reasoning, circular conversation, circular topic, whatever. It's always a circular thing. So every single article has one thing in common. The word circular has shown up every single time. This is not a coincidence. Give it a thumbs up. How can this work? This is a pattern. Despite this person just writing their own blog, this is a pattern that has shown up every single time. And this circular reasoning was exactly like their hit piece. That's why all of it's fake. Because this is a word salad. So rather than directly addressing the issue at hand, the narcissist will purposefully engage in repetitive and irrelevant dialogue, skillfully talking at lengths, while most not actually saying very much. Just like their hit piece, it makes no sense. The objective of a circular conversation is to derail the discussion by continuously circling back to the same points and introducing irrelevant topics. Sound like Kamala Harris. The narcissistic word salad serves several purposes for the manipulator. For circular conversation serves as a form of deflection. Instead of addressing the original concerns or criticism, like they're the worst student of the year, the narcissist redirects the conversation away from themselves and onto relevant or irrelevant or repetitive topics. Second, circular conversations are used to frustrate and confuse the other person, like me, right? Trying to make me defend myself. By repeating the same argument or introducing unrelated information, the narcissists prevent the other person from getting a word in edgewise. Furthermore, circular conversations enable the narcissist to set pace and direction of the conversation, ensuring that their own agenda is prioritized over the needs of the other person. So overload their target with information. Yet another powerful narcissistic word salad tactic, which includes overwhelm the victim with deluge of irrelevant details and unnecessary facts. This is why they keep adding so much stupid shit, padding up their fucking smear campaign. It makes no sense. The strategy is effective because it creates confusion, for the other Reddit sheepos. And it makes it challenging for the other person in the conversation to stay focused on the main topic, issue at hand, which is the topic that they're the worst student of the year. They did not do the homework assignments and the expected results. They never even went through the courses. They only went through elite access. They only been banned for 3 days. They lied about everything. They try and make it only a few students got all the late testimonials. They lied through their teeth. This tactic serves as a multiple purpose for the narcissist. First, it creates a sense of power, dominance, as they appear knowledgeable and well-informed. By inundating the conversation with abundance of information, they assert superiority and attempt to undermine the other person's credibility. They make no sense. They sound like a fucking cult, and they call me a cult. Second, it serves to distract the technique, diverting attention away from their original concern or criticism, which is that they don't do the homework assignments. The overwhelming flood of information sidetracks the conversation, preventing the other one from expressing their concerns feeling effectively. This in intentional barrage of information makes it difficult for the other person to articulate their thoughts in areas of core issues as they struggle to navigate through the chaos of the words. So how to recognize a word salad? Recognizing manipulative tactics is the first step in dealing with narcissistic word salads. So number one, lack of logical flow. One of the most noticeable traits about a narcissistic word salad is the lack of logical flow. In a normal conversation, the topic follows each other in a meaningful and relatable sequence. However, when someone else is throwing a narcissistic word salad, they will abruptly jump from one unrelated topic to another, as they are randomly tossing words in the air without concern. Number two, gaslighting is a common technique used by narcissistic word salad. This is a form of psychological manipulation where the narcissist make you question your own memory and perception and sanity. And they will deny things that they clearly said and done, or insist that you're misremembering events. Number three, deflection. This sounds very similar to what other people said. Narcissists are master deflection because they're the worst student of the year, but they want to deflect that, especially when they feel threatened or accused. In such situation, they'll use a narcissistic word salad to redirect attention away from themselves and onto something else. So, circular conversations. Another characteristic of a word salad is the presence of a circular conversation. These discussions go around and round without ever reaching a resolution or a conclusion. Number five, projection. Projection is a key feature of the narcissistic sociopath word salad. A narcissistic sociopath word salad smear campaign are notorious for projecting their own negative behaviors and qualities onto others. Oh, he's mentally unstable, or he's a killer or something, or he's bad, right? It's like, if they're being unkind or defending yourself from this manipulative tactics. Number one, stay calm. Keep your cool. It's crucial when dealing with a narcissistic sociopath. The goal is to provoke you into an emotional reaction that will make you more susceptible to manipulation. By remaining calm and composed, you're likely to get drawn into their confusing narrative, or not likely to get drawn to their confusing narratives. Number two, do not engage in their games. Resist the urge to argue or rationalize with the narcissist, because they're going to make themselves the judge, jury, and executioner of the truth. They're not interested in a fair discussion or understanding your points. Any attempt to reason with these narcissistic sociopaths are likely to be twisted and used against you. Instead, keep your responses short, factual, and non-emotional. Number three, set boundaries. Establishing boundaries is essential when you're interacting with a narcissistic sociopath. This could mean refusing to engage in discussions or hit pieces on Reddit that don't have a clear purpose or direction, or ending conversations that become circular or abusive. Number four, practice self-care. Dealing with a narcissistic sociopath smear campaign can be mentally and emotionally draining. Make sure you take care of your well-being through regular exercise, a healthy diet, regular sleep, and activities that will bring the joy and relaxation. Number five, seek support. Don't hesitate to reach out to supportive friends, family members, or mental health professionals. Okay? But final thoughts. In conclusion, navigating through the intricacies of a narcissistic word salad can be incredibly challenging. If something feels off like a manipulation in a conversation, trust your instincts. Narcissistic word salads, or hit pieces that have this, leaves you feeling confused, invalidated, and doubting your own reality. By acknowledging your intuition, you can begin to reclaim your power and protect yourself from further manipulation. And this is from Carla Corlini. So she's been through a lot of narcissistic abuse. Okay, but that was a decent article. I wouldn't say great. Let's see, what's the next one? All right, so I saved a couple articles, right, about Charlie Kirk's murderer. We'll start with MSNBC. We'll just quickly get through this one as an example. The worst smear campaign, and the worst thing was being called fascist by a sniper bullet. Because this guy is trying to deflect, just like in the last article, they're trying to deflect from themselves about their own problems. Because Charlie Kirk talks about the trans community, and I'm not singling people out for hate speech or anything like that, a protected group, as they'll say. I'm just trying to say what's in the article. So Charlie Kirk, for MSN, Charlie Kirk, alleged assassin, lived with transgender partner who is now cooperating with FBI officials. This is a story by Brooke Singman. 5 hours ago. In Fox News, they just had this. The guy's called Tom Robinson. So, exclusive. Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin lived with his transgender partner. This is on MSN. I cannot make this shit up. Senior level FBI officials told Fox News Digital. Bureau officials confirmed that Tyler Robinson, 22, was in a romantic relationship with an unnamed person who was male transitioning to a female, and that they shared an apartment in St. George, Utah. Those FBI officials told Fox News Digital that Robinson's partner is fully cooperating with the FBI's investigation. One of the FBI officials told Fox that Digital that individual has been extremely cooperative. They say the person had no idea Robinson was allegedly planning to assassinate the Turning Point USA founder. The person is not currently accused of any criminal activity in connection with the assassination. Does that make sense? I can continue reading, right? Over and over, but that proves my point already. But basically, why am I bringing this up? Because of the pure hypocrisy. When he sniped Charlie Kirk in the neck, and the far left, they celebrate and they lost their job. These people are demons. Narcissistic, sociopath, cluster B personality types. I made a prediction that this will happen. This person's very confused and they're very woke. That's why I said before I deleted the thread, I wish I kept it because people are always criticizing me with false accusations. Oh, John's always making a psychic prediction. It was right. I said that guy's going to be alive. I said that person is going to not, end himself, metaphorically speaking. I said he's going to be alive and be caught alive, and he's going to be confused. That's why I said he's going to be woke. He's going to be a cluster B personality. It's all correct. So that's what they did. They shifted the blame. There's no more circular reasoning. There is no circular debate because he already killed Charlie Kirk. This guy. And his hypocrisy. You know how when they have hypocrisy, they try to shift the topic to somebody else. He has a trans partner. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Anyone can live their life however they want. But the person that killed Charlie Kirk for a statement or comment that he made because of his religious beliefs. Ridiculous. So he's saying that he cannot have a conversation instead of a smear campaign, which I experienced from a narcissistic sociopath, that Sydney Sweeney has dealt with the far left, calling it eugenics for saying good genes for, whatever his name is, Charlie Kirk, has experienced the far left using these narcissistic sociopath tactics of the cluster B personality. These are really, really hateful, demonic people. That's all I want to extract from that particular article on MSN. That a lot of these people, like I said, they shift the blame away from themselves. They always have hypocrisy and contradictions. So that's the article. I have another article here from a second site, which is New York Post, I mean. Charlie Kirk alleged assassin Tyler Robinson lived with a transgender partner source. This is by Josh Christensen and Georgia Warwell. Updated September 13th, 2025. Okay. Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin Tyler Robinson was living with a transgender partner who was in the process of transitioning from male to female, a law enforcement source confirmed to the Post Saturday. That individual has yet to be publicly identified by the authorities, now fully cooperating with FBI investigation in the fatal shooting of the conservative activist. In the relationship first reported by Fox News, Brooks Singham. According to public records, Lance Twiggs, 22, resided in the same address with where Robinson lived. Is that who he is? A relative of Twiggs confirmed to the Post Saturday that, yes, they were roommates. So here's the mugshots. Okay. The family of the member asked not to be identified, said Twiggs was the black sheep of their St. George, Utah family, but declined to speculate a romantic relationship between the two men. She said she didn't know her relative politics or whether Twiggs was transitioning to become a woman, but added that it would not surprise her. The family member said that she knew Twiggs brought into questioning by the police. Well, basically, long story short, I'm just want to point out the hypocrisy. I've been through a lot of hypocrisy because this person had so much hypocrisy. Everything that they say about me was false. They say I banned everybody, but he been banned only for 3 days. He says supplementation killed another student, but that's only for like a stroke for alpha GPC. That it only has causes stroke. The guy had like a blood clot in the left lung, which is a different issue altogether. They lied about everything. They lied about how I ban every student. No, he's only been banned for 3 days, only banned like one per year. I should not defend myself, but it's ridiculous when you deal with these smear campaigns. So that's as much as one to extract from the article. The next article we're going to talk about is from Judge Anthony. This is not the first time that Judge Anthony made articles. This is a former judge, and who's also like he's also like a person that teaches about word salads and smear campaigns. I'm not sure he's a lawyer or advisor. I think he's an advisor. So let's see what Judge Anthony have to say. I may hire this guy. Understanding word salad narcissist tactics, recognizing and respond effectively. Okay. All right, Judge Anthony, let's hear what you have to say. A word salad narcissist use confusing and jumbled language to manipulate and control the conversation. This tactic leaves you feeling confused and unsure. In this article, you'll learn what this behavior looks like and why the narcissists use it, and how to respond effectively. So key takeaways from Judge Anthony, former judge, I should say, right? Because he's not longer a judge. So, all right, Judge Anthony, word salad is a manipulation tactic used by narcissists to confuse and dominate conversations, leaving the victim feeling drained and to question their perceptions. The common tactic employed by a narcissist include blame shifting. Okay, that sounds familiar. Projection, this is true when they're completely full of shit. Circular arguments. Once again, the fucking word circular argument. This judge, probably for like, probably some federal judge before. Circular argument, not circular reasoning. Circular arguments. Overgeneralizations, which obscure accountability and create frustration in the discussion. Isn't that weird? They all use the same fucking words. It's such a coincidence. How do they all know that these narcissistic word salad, sociopathic people, when they write their smear campaigns, they're using a narcissistic word salad? They're being, shown here by all these articles. They're all the same. This is a pattern, not something I'm making up. Give it a thumbs up for that. It's such a coincidence. So effectively respond to the narcissistic word salad involves remaining calm, using clear language, documenting interactions, and seeking therapy and support group for recovery. So what is a narcissistic word salad? What is a narcissistic sociopath word salad and narcissistic conversation? Word salads refer to the disjointed and confusing speech used by the narcissist to manipulate the conversation. Imagine trying to piece together a coherent narrative from a jumble of random words and phrases. This is what interaction with a narcissist can feel like. Narcissists often string words together in a way that confuses, it tires, and places others on the defensive. These conversations lacks logic, rationality, and relevance, making it nearly impossible to have a meaningful dialogue. This often is characterized by a narcissistic sociopath word salad. The objective of the narcissistic word salad is to deny the others a voice. By introducing irrelevant comments, the narcissist distracts from the main topic and obscures their responsibility. This manipulation aims to punish those who confront them about their behavior. During these interactions, the narcissist might maintain a calm demeanor, further disorienting their conversational partner, who becomes increasingly confused and defensive. A hallmark of these conversations is the verbal chaos and disjointed thoughts. The narcissist's convoluted language serves to obscure responsibility and manipulate the discussion. This tactic is particularly insidious because it leaves the victim feeling drained, unheard, often questioning their own perceptions. Understanding this behavior is crucial for anyone involved in a narcissistic relationship, as it is a key tool for the narcissist's arsenal of psychological manipulation, which means that highlighting the meaning of their tactics. So for Judge Anthony, common tactics used by the narcissist sociopath. Narcissistic sociopaths are master of manipulation by employing a variety of tactics to maintain control over the relationship and conversations. These tactics are delusional to create confusion and frustration, deeply impacting communications. One of the most common tactics is blame shifting. When a narcissist diverts attention by emphasizing past wrongdoings of others, this deflection strategy helps them avoid taking responsibility for their actions. Projection is another frequent used tactic, involved narcissistic accusing others of their own misdeeds. By projecting their flaws onto others, they shift the focus away from themselves and onto their victims. Just like the Charlie Kirk assassin. These tactics can make it incredibly challenging to address grievances and maintain a healthy dialogue. I mean, they can't even have a dialogue. That guy could just talk to Charlie Kirk, right? Instead of shooting him and try to have a rational argument. But rather, they shoot him in the neck exactly when they talk about these topics. Really disgusting. So, as Judge Anthony is saying, the following subsections will delve into specific tactics used by the narcissistic sociopath. Word again, circular reasoning or circular argument, projection, and overgeneralizations. Circular arguments. Circular arguments are a staple in the narcissist playbook. These conversations often involve repetitive and circular discussion that leads to frustration. Narcissists frequently revisit points without any progression, creating a loop of the same argument without introducing new information. This tactic leaves the other person feeling drained and confused, obscuring the original topic. So, in discussions with the narcissist, common tactics used to gaslight others include denial of their action or words, which has been done to me, avoiding directly answering or instead providing irrelevant information, further complicating the conversation. Yeah, they don't actually address any of the things I say, even though you have all their screenshots ripping off their massive sanity. They still act with their narcissistic sociopathic mask, contradicting themselves, leading to further confusion. By shifting the conversation through irrelevant anecdotes, they avoid accountability for their actions. This relentless cycle of circular conversation is designed to maintain control and leave the other person feeling powerless. The lies that they tell only serves to deepen the confusion in this story. In projection, projection is a tactic where the narcissists accuse others of their own misdeeds, deflecting blame with excuses. This distortion tactic can make it difficult for victims to address grievances. I'm the victim here. They're not the victim. As the narcissist frequently shifts blame onto others for their own negative actions. For instances, a narcissist might accuse their partner of lying, when in reality, they are the ones being deceptive. One reaccounting reveals how a narcissist individual frequently deflects blame back onto others, creating a narrative where they are always the victim despite the numerous instances of their own misbehavior. This tactic not only distorts the conversation, but also leaves the victim questioning their own actions and thoughts. By accusing others of exhibiting the same negative behaviors they possess, narcissistic sociopaths manage to obscure their own flaws and maintain a facade of innocence. Overgeneralizations. Yeah, we heard some of these before. So this guy is talking about some real shit that keeps repeating itself. Overgeneralizations are sweeping statements that apply broadly to obscure specific issues. Narcissists use this technique to avoid accountability and to create confusion during conversations. For example, instead of addressing a specific concern, they might make the broad claims like, you always do this, right? Like, you always ban everyone. Everyone talks this way, or everyone thinks this way, right? Basically, these rash convictions, lack introspection, and are characterized by a shallow and superficial knowledge, often reflecting their own opinions. Using vague language that lacks clarity, narcissists make it difficult for their conversational partners to grasp their conversation. The main point that is meant to be understood. This tactic leads to feelings of frustration and confusion as the victim struggles to address specifically their concerns amidst a barrage of overly generalized statements. The result is a conversation that feels insane. That's a mild way of putting it. And leaves the subject eternal or external victim questioning their own opinions of truth, reality, as if they have realized that they've been lied to in a new moment, light form. In conclusion, I guess it's clear that someone or something can happen that is a bunch of wrong ideas. Hell, the idea is that the perception of the truth can often be distorted, and how one might respond to that distortion, which can be quite ridiculous. Emotional impact of the narcissistic sociopathic word salad from Judge Anthony. The emotional toll of narcissistic word salads can be profound. Victims often experience a sense of frustration and feeling lost as they navigate conversations filled with contradictions. The use of narcissistic word salads can lead to significant anxiety and self-doubt, making the victims question their own perceptions. Over time, the confusion caused by this type of communication can lead to cognitive processing difficulties, making even simple tasks seem challenging. The manipulation involves narcissistic word salads often erodes trust in relationships, creating emotional distance between individuals. Repeated exposure to this communication style, or hit pieces, can result in a twisted view of reality for the victim, leading to the increased feeling of isolation. These conversations often leave the other person feeling drained and unheard. Understanding the emotions impact is crucial for recognizing the need for effective responses and seeking support. Recognizing the warning signs. Recognizing the warning signs in narcissistic word salad is essential for protecting yourself from manipulation. The key indicators include disjointed and confusing speech, right? Or the hit piece. Narcissists asserting dominance, like they do, invalidating opposing views, which is like, oh yeah, you can't do this, right? You cannot like punish people by banning them because they won't do their homework assignments. And they make broad claims like, oh, everyone knows that you should not do that, and everyone knows that only certain things work, and RSD works better. Or what? Like, fuck you. So let's see. Another student did not do his homework. You are banned for 1 week. This student is trying to be lazy and trying to skip days. This is not a bad thing, because all the students that have been banned, they actually do their homework assignments. It doesn't matter. You did not finish yesterday's assignment. You are secretly trying to skip days. I know you're secretly using that tactic. You think by posting it very last minute that I'll forgive it, and then you just keep doing it, and next day you try to do more. So you always have a vacation because you don't want to show up because you have avoidance personality. I'm glad you're watching the stream. Thank you for watching the stream, but do your homework. Because the other guy, the hater, he's saying that it's bad to ban people. But what happens when you don't do the homework? I don't want to be like the bad guy here, but this has made everybody do their homework. Everyone has done their homework so far. We're going to see if the other person, who is Latino, if he even started. Sometimes when bad students, they don't start their homework assignments, right? And they try to blame me because they have cluster C personality. Let's just see if this other guy has done his homework assignment. I'm trying to make him learn time management so that way he can free up some time. Let's just see if he actually done it. Let's go to the very end. Oh, fuck. If this Latino student does not do his homework assignment, right? Everyone has 100% done their homework assignment, including this guy. If this Latino has not done it, then he's going to make all Latinos look bad. Because the one who was a hater against me was actually half Latino. And all the bad students that were taller who did not get laid were all Latinos. There's only like 3 of them. They're all good looking, they're tall, and they're all like, some of them are strong. But they're not like ninjas. They cannot do the drills. They run away. They have this loser mentality, always broke. They never finished the mindset playlist for all of them. For 3 of them. If this is the 4th Latino, right? At least he done the mindset playlist. He has at least he's done it. I hate to be banning students. I hope you actually done the homework assignment, because so far I'm looking at your mindset playlist. You haven't even started. Every single student has done their homework assignments. Every single one. If you are the one who doesn't do it, you're going to represent the Latinos. All the other Latinos who have done it, they don't have type C personality, avoidant personality. This is going to seem like an avoidant personality, and this is going to strengthen my argument. So I really hope that you do it before 12 p.m. Pacific time. You see that? They don't do their homework. They're really bad students. And exactly like the other person, I'm not shifting blame here. The other person refused to accept responsibility. If that's how Latinos behave, they don't do their homework assignments. I'm not talking about all Latinos. I'm talking about these type of students. The ones that are full of cortisol, the ones who are like cluster B, completely emotional, borderline, histrionic, narcissistic, sociopathic, and they get triggered all the time, and they have no emotions, and they tell me, he told me the same thing. I don't hear anger in my own voice. I was like, dude, we can hear it. Another student had to call him too. Alexithymia. It almost sounds the same, right? It's ridiculous. Why should I be blamed because of these mental personality disorders? Doesn't make any sense. All right, let's continue. So Judge Anthony, frequently shifting between topics, indicating the confusing communication, typical of the narcissistic word salad. Overly defensive reactions when questioned of another signal of narcissistic behavior in conversations. Being aware of these warning signs, you can better understand when you're being manipulated and take steps to protect yourself. Recognizing these patterns is a first step towards regaining control in your interactions with narcissists. I don't want to ban you, right? So in the future, right? If you don't finish it and you try to do it the next day, right? Don't do that. Try to finish 10 before midnight. Your previous one does not count. Then you'll be unbanned. Please do not make the other fucking narcissistic sociopath, you know who, make him right, because I'm not the bad guy here. I want you to finish your homework assignments. I don't care about your excuses. Start right now, right? Even if they're not perfect. You try to make the very last piece, right? The hybrid opener perfect. Do not just speed up out of nowhere, right? And start having syllables like the other guy. All right. So effective responses to word salad. You see that? By banning students or saying that you're going to ban them because they've been banned before, they will never want to do it again. And this is a very effective way to train people. It's not because I'm mean. It's super, super effective. Responding effectively to narcissistic word salads requires a strategic approach. One effective strategy is to rephrase the narcissist statements back to them to highlight their inconsistencies. I never thought about that. That's interesting, Judge Anthony. Therapy can also equip survivors with tools to set boundaries and improve communications in future relationships. The following subjectation will provide detailed tactics to explain staying calm and focused using clear and direct language, documenting everything and building confidence. So stay calm and focused. Maintaining composure is essential when dealing with a narcissistic sociopath. Reacting emotionally can empower their manipulation tactics. Staying calm prevents the narcissist from using your emotional reaction to manipulate the conversation. By maintaining a tranquil demeanor, you can prevent escalation tensions and keep the conversation from spiraling out of control. Jackson McKenzie, an expert on narcissistic abuse, and emphasizes the importance of not letting the narcissist confuse or provoke you. Keeping a neutral tone can help you stay grounded and focus on the essence of the issue. Rather than getting caught up in the narcissistic chaotic dialogue, this approach can help you Retain your sanity and avoid feeling crazy or angry during interactions. Use clear and direct language. Using a clear and direct language is crucial when you're talking to a narcissist. Focusing on the child's best interest in a conversation prevents you from being drawn into a narcissist's manipulative tactics. By using your own words to clearly state your position or perspective, you can ensure that the conversation remains constructive. This minimizes misunderstanding and helps you communicate your needs effectively and assertively. When you speak clearly and directly, it becomes harder for the narcissist to twist your words and to confuse the issue. This approach can lead to more productive interactions and help you maintain a sense of control in the conversation. It is important to stay firm and not let the narcissist derail the discussion with their manipulative tactics. Document everything, which of course I have already have. So, okay, there's only 2 people here. Let me try to copy and paste it so they come back. I have to go to the bathroom eventually. So I better wrap this up. Not right now, but there's 2 more articles. We'll try to get through this one as fast as possible. All right. If you have any questions, right, about these nasty people, feel free to ask. All right, let's continue. Documenting everything is an important step in dealing with a narcissist. Keeping detailed records of interactions can provide clarity and serve as a reference for future discussions. By writing down what happened, you can better understand and describe the pattern of behavior. This strategic documentation can help counteract the psychological toll of navigating a relationship with a narcissist. Effectively, documentation can also serve as a crucial evidence in legal settings and aiding in addressing narcissistic behaviors. Realizing the importance of this step can empower you to take control of the situation and protect yourself from further manipulation. Yeah, basically, talking to many lawyers, they have told me I have a very strong case of dealing with extortion. And also, like, the NDA strengthens my argument, and the defamation and proven untrue, right, which is through the screenshots, can really strengthen my case. Anyways, let's continue. By maintaining a new account of interactions, you can deal with the narcissist more effectively, ensure that you have a clear record of their behavior. Real life examples. Okay. Let's see. Am I too close to the camera? That's okay. Real life examples can illustrate how narcissistic word salad manifests and impact individuals. One person experienced a narcissistic twisting their words and manipulating conversations, leading to confusion about their own actions and thoughts. In another example, the simple question often trigger a barrage of irrelevant statements and accusations from a narcissistic partner. Now it's starting not to make that much sense. Like, what's he trying to say? People know that narcissist would often misquote or deliberately misinterpret past events to control the narrative in their favor. That's true in the hit pieces. They take everything I say and they have designed it with ChatGPT. How do I destroy John Elite's money as fast as possible? What do I say that's defamation? And they're like, okay, say all this stuff. These examples highlight the reality of dealing with narcissists and the frustration and confusion they cause. Understanding these real-life scenarios in context can help you realize the importance of recognizing and responding to a narcissistic word salad effectively. The role of therapy and support groups. Therapy and support groups play a crucial role in the recovery process for the victims of a narcissistic abuse. Therapy provides a secure environment for victims to process their traumas, develop of coping strategies, therapeutic approaches tailored to meet specific needs, survivor facilitating personalized healing journey. Online therapy options enhances accessibility for individuals seeking help, allowing them to engage in the recovery from the comfort of their own home. Yeah, basically sociopaths, right? They cause like a lot of PTSD and stuff. So that's why people like always go to therapy dealing with narcissistic sociopaths. Does that make sense? It's really important that you don't let them try to control the narrative. So, man, I got really pee, so I got like, fuck, my bladder really hurts. I'm going to hold it in just so I can finish this for you guys, okay? Give it a thumbs up. So basically, engage in a recovery from the comfort of their home. Support groups, often communal spaces where individuals can share experiences and feel validated in their struggles with narcissistic abuse. Establishing boundaries is crucial when dealing with a narcissist to prevent being dragged into the chaotic conversations. These resources can provide support and tools needed to rebuild one's life experience after narcissistic abuse. So Judge Anthony's insight on dealing with narcissists. Judge Anthony is a seasoned expert in family law, offers valuable insights on dealing with narcissistic in family court, and essential to minimizing direct engagement with narcissists to avoid giving them the leverage in disputes. Okay, so this is them. Yeah, this is in summary, right? We don't have to go through a summary. Let's go to the next article. Oh, fuck. This really hurts. But I'm going to do it. I'm just going to hold it in anyways. I hope I don't destroy my own blood. Okay, word salads. When narcissists talk in a circle to confuse you and how to shut it down. So this is from a place called abusenomore.com. All right, let's just see what they have to say. Luckily, this one is short. Okay. Ever had conversation that left you more confused than before? That's word salad. Or you ask, this thing's being blocked inside. Okay. You ask a simple question. They give you a long-winded, rambling, disconnected response. They talk in circles. They throw you in unrelated topics. They twist your words. They deny what they just said. They act like you're the problem. And when you try to get a straight answer, they accuse you of being difficult. Maybe you heard, you always do this. You bring up things that don't matter. I can't believe you're making such a big deal of nothing. You're too emotional right now. Let's talk when you're thinking clearly. What do you mean? That's not even like what we're talking about. You're twisting my words. At first, you try harder to clarify what you're asking. Then you get frustrated, realizing they're deliberately avoiding the point. And before you know it, the conversation has gone into so many directions that, like Pennywise eyes in different directions, because they all have that, that you forget what we're even arguing about. That's the word salad. Narcissistic manipulative tactics where they use vague, nonsensical, and circular speech to avoid accountability, to confuse you, to make you question your own sanity. If you ever felt like someone in your life is impossible to have a real conversation with because they constantly derail, twist, and avoided direct answering, then you've been targeted in one of the most maddening power plays in narcissism. So let's break it down, right? What is a word salad, and why do narcissistic sociopaths use it? A word salad is not just bad communication, it's deliberate confusion used to distract from the real issue, make you feel exhausted and overwhelmed, avoid answering direct questions. It works because most people, okay, so how word salad works and why it's so toxic. Narcissists use tangents, contradictions, and gaslighting to make sure you never get a straight answer. Word salad in action. Rambling, going on tangents. They start talking about unrelated. Okay. This is more like, this article is not that good. This article sounds more like Kamala Harris dealing with her word salads, not the narcissistic type. We'll go to the last article before I have to pee, and we'll have a conclusion. So the last one is called manipulationship, right? .com. Manipulationship.com. Narcissistic word salad confuses the fuck out of you in narcissistic abuse. Okay. Narcissistic word salad is a wicked manipulative tactics. Sidestep conversations. Narcissists want to avoid or to cloud your thinking. When dealing with a manipulative narcissistic sociopath, word salad serves to form of gaslighting. Okay, this big thing is popping out the side, covering the words, but I'll try my best to read it. It's a psychological tactic to maintain control and power over the conversation. Clinical definitions. According to diagnostic, okay, we'll skip this part. Diagnostic Manual 5. It's a symptom of disorganized speech, often seen with schizophrenia or other psychotic disorders, which is type A personality. But we're going to skip that part. We're not going to talk about this one. We're going to talk about the narcissistic side, okay, in relation to narcissism, because I don't think they're type A. So in type B, in relationship to narcissism, the word salad is used as a manipulative tactic rather than actual symptoms of mental illness. Narcissists may exhibit this behavior when they feel threatened or challenged, using confusing or nonsensical language to deflect from the real issue at hand. So why do narcissistic sociopaths use word salads? There are several reasons for this behavior. They may seek to avoid engaging in the topic you've introduced, as they prefer not to confront it directly. Well, because they don't want to protect their ego that they're the worst students of the year. This could be due to discomfort with the subject matter or desire to maintain the current status quo without delving into potential challenging discussions. Basically, they want it in their own mind, right? They want it, they're never wrong. So the fact that they could be known as the worst student of the year, they might as well go and attack me because they want to cover their mask of sanity. But this video actually rips off their mask of sanity, which is great. So narcissists have discovered a clever and repeatable successful way to sidestep the issue, which might involve redirecting the conversation, changing the subject, or employing humor to deflect attention. This strategy helps them navigate situations without having to address the core issues. 5 things that are not word salads. Dr. Raman, okay, this is not that important. The objective is to dominate the conversation or debate, often leaving others bewildered and unable to reply, as they will not grasp the topic at hand. That's like the hit piece that they use on me on Reddit. By the time you manage to understand that they already declared victory, their mind has moved on. So if you revisit a topic, they may retort with something like, why do you keep bringing this up? We already discussed it. You just want to argue. Your reaction gives them a sense of triumph. It doesn't matter what the conversation was about or how valid your points were, even when I have a video pointing out all their contradictions. When frustration leads to react emotionally, they exploit it against you, likely sharing your reaction with others to portray you as overreacting and the source of the problem. Naturally, they omit their manipulative tactics, but in their wicked eyes, they've won. Play mind games. Narcissists find delight in playing mind games, deriving from a sense of satisfaction from your reaction as you try to decipher the words they intend. Because I have no idea what their hit piece is about. They might engage in this behavior over seemingly trivial topics like casual conversations about shared interests or a lighthearted debate just to observe your response. These interactions, they gather insights into your thought process and emotions they can use to manipulate future conversations or advantages, leaving you feeling perplexed or even frustrated. Basically, they use out accounts, right? And they try to learn you. They try to learn me through the different challenges, the 5-day challenges. Oh, once again, they bring up circular conversations. Once again, it just keeps circular. It's the same fucking thing. False accusations, pain points, guilt trip, circular reasoning. Manipulative, sociopathic narcissists aim to exhaust your mental with endless circular conversations that lead nowhere, hoping that you'll eventually give up out of sheer frustration. These conversations often fill with gaslighting, contradictions, and deliberate misunderstanding, making it difficult to reach a productive resolution. Their ultimate goal is to wear you down, making you tired of new explanations, examples, or reasoning until you surrender out of fatigue. Over time, the constant mental tug of war can erode your confidence and sense of reality, leaving you questioning yourself. Deflection. So hopefully the other student does not get banned and finish his homework assignment for today. Right? I'm glad you're watching this, but you need 10 of them. Right? And hopefully you won't be banned, because I don't want to ban a bunch of people. If the only person that gets banned is the Latino guy, right? Then we can say Latinos are so severe ADHD, right? That they're not serious. Okay, let's see the first video. I'm going to mute this one. I'm going to unmute it, okay? It's just students when they ever ask me for homework advice. All right, so basically, just try to make it sound more like a normal conversation. I like the slowness, right? You need a layer of naturalness to the speech, right? Remember the tonality of a whitewash, right? Try to keep it natural, but at that speed, but put a layer of naturalness over it. Does that make sense? And you'll knock it out of the park. Everything is fine so far. You got 9 more to go. Please do not make me ban you. I really, really hope that you win this assignment. All right, so that's for the student. Let's continue. So deflection. It's a way for them to deflect responsibility and avoid being held accountable for their actions. They might project their own issues onto others, making you feel as though you're the one at fault or crazy. Yeah, exactly. They're a bad student. They want to make it seem like I'm a bad coach. I'm the best day game coach in the whole fucking world. I'm more than every other student in the world combined. This tactic can often leave you doubting your own perceptions and feelings. If a narcissist are feeling frustrated, embarrassed, they might deploy the strategy as a defensive, maladaptive coping mechanism. It serves to get people off their back, and it can even condition others to cease the action that's causing them frustration, which is them being blamed for being a bad student. By doing so, they effectively manipulate the situation to their advantage, ensuring that they maintain and control and avoid dealing with the root of the problem, projection. Narcissists often use tactics to provoke a reaction and deliberately trying to ruffle your feathers, like a smear campaign. During disagreements, they might employ confusing language, in their smear campaigns, known as the word salad, to frustrate you, pushing you to react with anger and frustration. I fell for it, by the way. Perhaps raising your voice. Narcissists can use this response against you, and it's a manipulative strategy employed by pathological narcissistic sociopaths to control their environment. They want to avoid accountability. A narcissistic word salad as a tactic to avoid taking responsibility and being held accountable for their actions. Their manipulation techniques involve throwing in random nonsensical words and phrases to create confusion, distract from the real issue. By muddling the conversations with irrelevant, contradictory statements, they leave others feeling bewildered and frustrated. As a result, the focus shifts away from their behavior, allowing them to sidestep consequences and maintain control over the narrative. Understanding this tactic can be crucial in recognizing and addressing manipulative behaviors. Gaslighting glossary. What does this mean? The narcissistic word salad can serve as a means of gaslighting, a psychological manipulation technique often employed by narcissists. In such situations, a narcissist might distort their words or manipulate the conversation, throwing in a jumble, unrelated, confusing phrases. They use a lot of weird shit that don't make any sense. They cause you to question your own memory and perception of events, making it difficult for you to follow a conversation or remember what was originally said. The purpose of this tactic is to assert control over you, leaving you increasingly uncertain and feeling like you're losing your sanity. This confusion and self-doubt makes it easier for the narcissist to dominate the interaction, ultimately eroding your confidence and sense of reality and the lack of logic. Narcissists may also use word salads as a tactic to avoid engaging in logical and productive conversations. So they word salad you in a fucking hit piece. This involves a chaotic mix of words and phrases that can often confuse the listener or the Reddit people. By constantly changing the subject and throwing nonsensical phrases, they can derail the conversation, ensuring that any meaningful communication is thwarted. This technique not only hinders, but can also frustrate the other person, who may feel trapped in an endless loop of confusion and smear campaigns. Ultimately, this serves the narcissist's purpose of maintaining control over the dialogue and avoiding any topics that they find uncomfortable or incriminating, which is the worst student of the year. It also reinforces the belief that they are superior and can manipulate others at will. Because they don't have any guilt and remorse. They're like the far left. Type B clusters with type C avoidance. Narcissistic rage. Domestic violence, man hitting women into a narcissistic rage. Narcissistic word salad can be a precursor to outbursts of narcissistic rage. When they feel challenged or criticized, narcissists may resort to this tactic as a way to deflect accountability, taking responsibility for their actions. As the conversation becomes more chaotic and confusing, the narcissist's anger may escalate until it reaches a boiling point. This can result in verbal or even physical abuse, leaving the other person shocked and traumatized. Like Charlie Kirk, right? Or in my case, a smear campaign. So how it makes you feel, that's not that important. But I think that's the article over there, right? That is the end of the article. So I want to wrap up this conversation, okay? Thank you for being here, but here's what I want to say at the very end. Now you know what a narcissistic word salad looks like, okay? For the first time in your life, for a lot of you, this is the first time you've ever heard this phrase, narcissistic word salad. This is the first time you heard it. So that's good. Now you know it because you're all going to be experts at it because you all will know this phrase. And it looks like a sweeping claims, guilt trips, the circular logic, and why it sounds off when you read the Reddit hit piece. When you put it next to the receipts, the story collapses. What you saw wasn't honest critique. It was a character assassination designed to choke off revenue of mine and to smear reputation. Some details they mention are real. I do teach X, I do Y, but the framing is 99% wrong. That's why these tactics works. Exaggerate, invert, repeat. And from there, don't judge by anonymous outrage by out accounts. Judge by outcomes of my students. Check, is the specific claim accurate? And so far in the last video, it is not. Does it match the receipts? Does it flip the victim and the offender? I'm actually the victim. They're the offender. They try to make themselves the victim. I'm the offender. So if it's not, it's noise and you are misled. Now you are not. And once you see the pattern, you won't fall for it again. So facts over fictions, results over rumors. Thank you for being here, guys. Give it a thumbs up. And that's the end of today's video.